everyone, and welcome to the complete Freshsales CRM course. If this is your first time here, my name is Emma Glory, the founder of CRM Instructors, where we help businesses to implement CRM systems to automate their sales process and to build efficient customer management system for their business. So whether you're a business owner or you're a sales professional or you're a freelancer or you're a consultant or someone completely new to the CRM world or to the CRM software, this course is actually designed to take you from the beginner level to a confident fresh sales user. Throughout this course, we're not just going to be learning where you can be able to click the buttons. We're going to be building a complete CRM system together, and we're going to be following a real sales process from the beginning, from getting the leads up until closing the leads. We're also going to be seeing how we can generate reports and how we can be able to automate our repetitive tasks. Everything in this course is explained step by step so that even if you are new to the CRM, you'll be able to follow confidently and comfortably. One quick thing you need to do before we begin to make this course easier for you, we have actually created a free Freshsales CRM workbook that contains all of the sample data, exercises, pipelines, email templates, and examples we are going to be using throughout this course. So do not forget to download your workbook. You can download your workbook. The link is in the description below alongside this tutorial. So as you are building each of this structure, you can also be able to follow through the workbook to be able to set up this structure for your own business. And this is just to help make sure that your process you are going to be building is going to be personal for your own business. And also do not forget to like this video and also share with everyone who you think is going to need this video. And also we have a mission to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, and you can actually make that happen for us. So subscribe and also like this video and also share with everyone who you think is going to need this video. And also do not forget to download your workbook. So let's get started. Okay, so let us get started. Now, if you are seeing me for the first time or if you are coming to this channel for the first time, my name is Emma Glory and I am the founder of CRM Instructors, where we help businesses to set up their CRM and their email marketing system to help them organize their database, their contact database, their leads, and to help them organize their sales process, and to also make sure to automate all of the repetitive works in the organization and to help close more deals and generate more revenue. So in this course, we are going to be going through fresh sales from the beginning to the end. So if you do not have any previous CRM education or you do not know anything about fresh sales before, you do not need to worry, because I will try as much as possible to explain this, that even a complete beginner can be able to understand everything I am going to be saying. So by the end of this course, you're going to know how to be able to manage your contacts, to build your sales pipeline, to automate your repetitive tasks, to send emails, to generate reports, and to track your entire sales process inside of Freshsales. But this course is not actually just about learning where you can be able to find each of the buttons. The goal is to help you understand each feature, why they actually exist, and how you can be able to use it in a real business. If you're a business owner too, you will understand how to use Freshsales for your real life business. So this course is perfect for you if you're a business owner that you're trying to manage your contact and your sales. Is also perfect for sales representatives that are using Freshsales as their CRM to keep track of their leads, their follow-up and opportunities. And if you're also a CRM admin or a CRM freelancer and you want to set up Freshsales for your company, or you want to learn how to configure it properly, this course is also for you. Okay, so now what is Freshsales? Now, before we start clicking buttons and before we start getting inside of the CRM, I want to let you know a little bit about what Freshsales is all about. Freshsales is actually a customer relationship management system, and it is also called a CRM. And a CRM is simply a centralized place where businesses can be able to store their customer information and to manage their sales process of the organization. So instead of keeping contact details, customer details in different places like the spreadsheet, your notebook, your emails, your sticky notes, or WhatsApp, everything is going to be coming inside one centralized place, which is the CRM. So the CRM is a organized and a structured place to be able to keep all of the contacts coming in inside of your organization. And it is not just keeping them in there, it's also making sure that you can be able to nurture these people and you can be able to take each of these people through your sales process in your organization. So another good thing about Freshsales is that it is you can be able to see every customer information. You can see the previous conversation you had with each of those customers. You can see the email history. You can see the phone history. You can be able to create meetings, create notes. You can see the particular stage of your sales process that each contact are actually located in. So think of Fresh Sales as this central hub for your entire sales team. So everyone in the organization is going to work with the same information, which reduces confusion and also helps team to be able to collaborate effectively and efficiently. Fresh Sales is actually a product of Freshworks. So there are different products under Freshworks. Under Fresh Works, they have fresh service, they have fresh desk, they have a lot of products under of fresh works. But the one we're going to be focusing on today is fresh sales. And trust me, you do not need to learn everything at a go, you just need to take it one step at a time. Okay, so for example, fresh desk is actually used for customer support, and fresh chats is actually used to help businesses to be able to communicate with websites and visitors through a live chat. They have fresh caller, they have fresh marketer. They actually have a lot of apps actually. But the one we're going to be focusing on today, like I said, is the fresh sales, which is the CRM part of Freshworks. Now, if you go to Fresh Sales website, you are going to see all of the things they have in here. You can see all of the features they have on their website, the things they said they can be able to do, and we're actually going to see if we can see that everything is true or not through this course. And also, you can see all of the features that they currently have. You can be able to go through these features and see if this is something that you actually want for your business. And also another important thing you can also see is the pricing, and you can be able to see the different pricing that they currently have in their organization. So if you go over here, you are going to see fresh sales, and they have fresh sales suits. They also have fresh marketer. So if you click each of them, as you can see, you can be able to do different things with each of this. Okay, so the one we are going to be using is a fresh sales, and as you can see, we can pick the growth plan, which is just 900 per month. You can also pick the plan, which is $39 per month, and the enterprise plan is $59 per month. So if you're an individual and you are just starting out and you need simple automation, you need customization, I would advise that you just go with the growth plan. But the pro plan is for people that want to do advanced reporting, that need AI features, that also need more customization, and you need more advanced workflow capability, then you can go with the pro plan. Actually, this is the best plan of fresh sales because it's kind of in the middle. It's better than growth, and it is not so complex like enterprise. And also they have the enterprise plan, and the enterprise plan is $59. And as you can see all of the features in here. So it is actually the most advanced plan of fresh sales, and it has additional capability, and you can also be so it has advanced security, it has governance, customization, administrative control, and it makes it ideal for actually big businesses or big organizations. And you can also see the things you can be able to do in each of them. So if you click on compare, it is going to take you to the place where you can be able to compare each of these features. They also have the free plan. So if you are just starting out and you want to see if fresh sales is actually good for you, you can start with the free plan and just see how it goes. But I will also advise that you take a look at the things that they have to offer first before you actually sign up for any of the plans. So we're going to be trying this for free, and we are going to click on try for free here, and it is going to take us to the place where I need to sign up for my account. I am going to be using my Google account. I'm going to give it permission to my Google account, and as you can see, it is signing in already. So I'm just going to give this a okay. So now I can be able to fill in my details. I am going to add my phone number. I'm going to add my company name also, and I'm going to continue with my email. And when I click on continue with email here, it is signing up for my fresh sale account. Okay, so I need to fill in all of this information. Is asking me for my industry, so I'm just going to pick services, and I'm going to click on continue, and it's creating my first sale account for me. And as you can see, this is my first sale account, and I love first sales what is it called, UI, the user interface. It is so simple and so clean, and it is not jam packed, like there's not a lot going on in the on my screen. Okay, so now that we have created our account, we are going to be seeing how we can be able. Okay, so now that we've created our account, we are going to be seeing how we can set up this account from scratch. So like I said, this is going to be a long course, so I will advise that you pick out your pen and your paper and you look at how I'm setting this up so you can be able to do the same thing for your business. And also do not forget to subscribe to this channel and also like this video and also share with every fresh sales user you have out there so that they can be able to benefit from this video also. And do not forget to subscribe. Okay, so now that you've gotten into your fresh sales account, you're going to see the left hand side here where you can see your dashboard, you can see your contacts, you can see the account, and you can see the deals, and you can also see your conversations in here. And you can also see your analytics where you can be able to create different reports. You can also see the settings in here where you can be able to do some administrative settings also for your fresh sales account. Okay, so for every beginner out there, so let me just try to brush show what each of this menu does. So on the left hand side we have dashboard. The dashboard is just allowing us to be able to create different dashboards so that we can be able to see the things going on in the organization. We can be able to see the contact by owner, we can be able to see our deal value, we can see the revenue we are generating this month, we can see the revenue we generated last month compared to this month. You can create different dashboards. They have the sales dashboard where you can be able to track your sales and your revenue. They have the activity dashboards where you can be able to track all of the tasks and activity that is going on in the organization. And as you can see here, they have various reports you can also add in and dashboards you can add in. Okay, on the second menu we have is the contact menu. And like I said, for everybody coming into your organization, there are contacts, and we are going to be able to bring them inside of fresh sales from everywhere they are coming from. So that means if you have contacts coming from a website, or you have contacts coming from maybe an event you had, a physical event, or you have someone's coming from your social media, you should be able to bring them inside of fresh sales so that you can be able to manage every one of them inside of your CRM. Now you can also see your accounts, and accounts are just organizations that are that each of the contacts are connected to. So if for instance I am Emma Glory, I am from CRM instructors. Emma Glory is a contact and the account is CRM instructors, and Emma Glory is going to be connected to CRM instructors, and that is because CRM instructors is an organization. And it is also possible that in your CRM you have multiple contacts connected to an organization. If you're trying to close a deal and you have the contact of the manager, you have the contact of maybe you have the contact of the CEO also, you can be able to create two of those accounts, the CEO and the manager, and you can be able to connect them to one account. So that is for accounts and contact. Then we have deals. Deals actually helps you to be able to track revenue for the contacts that are coming in. So you've been able to qualify the contact, or you've been able to qualify the lead, and you feel like, okay, this lead actually wants to buy from us, then we can be able to take them through our different sales process that we currently have in the organization. So if you have a sales process where if a new lead comes in, you need to call them, you need to book a discovery call with them, or you need to send a demo to them, or whatever it is, whatever your sales process is, this is the particular place where you can be able to undo each of the deals and make each of the qualified contacts to become a deal inside of fresh sales. Okay, so that is for the deal. Then we have the conversation in here where we can be able to connect our Gmail or the particular email we are currently using, and this allows us to be able to see all of the emails coming in inside of our organization. We can be able to see the emails in here, we can send emails, and we can reply emails from also this place. And in this place also we can send bulk emails, we can also send email tracking, we can create chats and SMS and all of this. And also if you go to analytics also, you are going to see where you can be able to create different reports. So report is different from dashboard in such a way that report just is just showing one specific thing. So report can be, we are trying to create a report for our sales forecast for the year, or we are trying to create report for all of the tasks and activities that was done in an organization. So that singular report is what we are going to be creating, and the dashboard is the accumulation of different reports inside of the organization. So that is our dashboard is different from reports inside of fresh sales. And if you go to the settings here, you can see the various settings you can be able to do. We are going to come to this one after the other very soon. And if you come over to the left hand side, you are going to see where you can be able to do some personal settings by changing your name, or by changing your email signature, or whatever it is you want to change in here. You can also be able to add in your email, sync contacts, and do all of this from your personal settings. And if you also click on this also, you can see the knowledge base from fresh sales, where you can be able to see the documentation of the different things you can do inside of fresh sales. You can also create tickets, you can download the mobile app, and you can see all of this. So if you click on this search in here, you can be able to search your contacts, you can search deals, you can search tasks, you can search for anything. So it is possible that you have a contact and you already have thousands of contacts inside of your CRM, and you do not want to start looking for the person manually. You can just search for the person name, and the CRM is going to bring out the person immediately. You can be able to filter based, and you can be able to filter and look for a contact through thousands of contacts. And I feel like this is actually good because obviously we do not want manual work. We want something fast as possible. That is why we're getting a CRM. Okay, so if you click on the button in here also, you can see where you can be able to send new emails. You can send to particular contacts inside of your organization. We'll be seeing that soon. And if you click on the plus button, you can see all of the things you can create. So this is your quick create button where you can be able to create contacts, account, deal, products. You can create codes, you can create meetings, call logs, you can send SMS and all of this. And we are going to be seeing that also in a minute. And you can be able to see in here to see the notification from Freshsales. You can also see the notification bell where you can see all of the notifications from your that is coming in from Freshsales. If someone opened your email, if someone opened or clicked on your email, all of those notifications, you can be able to see them in here. Okay, so now that we are done with that, let us start from the main important thing, which is to set up our settings. So there are some basic settings you need to do first before you start anything inside of Freshsales. Okay, so if you come to your account settings over here and you click on the account settings, there are some settings we need to do here first before we start anything. So if you click on currency, the first thing you want to do is you want to set up your currency. And this is important because it is going to affect your report, it is going to affect your deals, and it is going to affect all of the revenue you are using in your organization. So if USD is not the base currency you are using, you can be able to pick the currency you are using in here. And as you can see, they have all of the currency. I believe this is all of the currency in the whole wide world. So you can be able to pick your own currency. So for instance, I'm Nigerian, and if I want to use the Naira currency, I just need to search for it and I can be able to pick that. Okay, so whatever currency you want to use, you want to make sure that that is the currency you want to use, because if you change this base currency, you are telling the CRM to change everything that is currently in USD to Naira, and it is going to convert that for you. But we do not want that. Our base currency is USD, so we are going to leave it as that. You can also change your decimal settings. Decimal settings is just saying how many numbers after the decimal points. That's just all. You can increase it to 4, you can increase it to 3, but we all know that the decimal for currency is 2, so that is it. And we can also add multiple currency. So it is possible that you are using multiple currency, and if you want to be able to add multiple currency, you have to make sure that your base currency will always remain the same. And it's giving me a warning here, and it's saying that even if I change, that I won't be able to change my base currency, which is USD, if I actually go on with this. If you want to go on with this, you have to make sure that USD or whatever you're using as your base currency will be the permanent currency in your CRM. If you do not want to set it that way, please do not set this up, because this is a permanent thing. They will not be able to reverse this for you. Okay, so I want to go ahead because obviously USD is our base currency. So I'm just going to pick this and I'm going to say yes. And when I say yes, and I can be able to add another currency. So then I can decide that I want to use the Naira as the extra currency in our CRM. And we can also decide that, you know what, I want it to be converted automatically without me having to raise any finger. And this is going to convert based on the present exchange rate in the market, and it is going to convert based on that. You can also see the manual conversion, and the manual conversion is just allowing you to be able to pick a particular conversion rate, and that is what the CRM is going to be using. So if you want to use the automatic, just pick that. But if you're using manual, you can say that for every USD we are getting, it is equivalent to 1,300 Naira. And you can click on save, but I want to use the automatic, and that is going to save my currency. So as you can see in here, I cannot be able to edit my base currency, and that is because I've been able to add an extra currency. So like I said, you want to make sure, let me increase myself so you can hear me talk. Oh my god. Okay, so like I said, you cannot be able to change your base currency after you've added multiple currency inside of your CRM, Freshsales CRM. So you want to make sure that this is the base currency you want to use before you start adding extra currency in the CRM. Okay, so that is for our currency. And if we go back to admin settings in here, we are also going to see where we can be able to do our account settings. So when you click on account settings in here, you can change your company name, you can change your own name, you can change your email, you can change your phone, and when you're done, you just, whatever changes you've made, you can then click on save. So when you click on save, that is going to save all of your changes also. So when you go back to admin settings, and go back to account settings, we can also see our CRM settings. So when we click on the CRM settings in here, we can be able to see the time zone that is currently being used inside of your CRM. So this is actually important because this is going to affect your time zone inside of your CRM. So the emails, the contacts, this is going to affect it. So we can use Eastern time, you can use Pacific, you can use whatever time zone you are currently using in your organization or from wherever you are. So I'm just going to pick I think I should just leave it as this. So this is our time zone, and you can change the language to whatever it is you want. You can also decide to use the date format. So I like the day, month, and year because that is what we use here. So it is possible if you're from the US, you use month, day, and year, or from whatever country also use this particular format. But we use this actually. You can just use the relative dates if you want, and you can also pick your time format. And relative date is just saying something like maybe today or yesterday or Monday or next week. It is not showing the particular date, it's just showing relative. I don't know. I think I should just leave it as relative. Relative is okay. So we can also change the time format, and we can use the 12-hour format, or you can use the 24-hour format. The 12-hour format is saying that from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. I mean, from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m., then we have 12 p.m., then it is going to be 1300, then 1400. That is the 12-hour format. But I do not like that at all. I prefer the normal one. I want to see 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. I do not want 1800, 1700. No, I don't. So I use the 24-hour format. And as you can see, we have the Freddy AI settings also. You can decide to enable all of this if you want. You can also decide to prevent users from sending emails to unsubscribed users. I definitely want this one. I am of the opinion that if someone unsubscribe from your list, there is no reason why you should still be sending them emails. And actually, you're even breaking some laws if you actually do that. Yeah, so we want to set that up, and we can say that we want to exclude duplicate contacts from an email sequence. Yes, please. Because if you imagine sending duplicate contacts, you have a duplicate contact, maybe you have three of them, three of the same person, and they're receiving the same sales sequence. Oh my god, the person is going to unsubscribe very, very quick and even block you. So you want to turn this on, and you also want to decide that if you want to allow one sales sequence to run at a time. Yeah, I will. This one is actually, it might be on off or off, and that is because it is possible you are running multiple sales sequence at a time and you want them to actually partake in it, but at the same time you don't want to spam them. So imagine running three sales sequence at the same time for a particular contact. I'm very sure the contact is even going to be tired of you. But I actually want to leave it on because obviously if I'm doing a particular thing, an event and something, and I'm creating a sales sequence, I also want them to be able to partake in it. So it's up to me to be able to create this thing in Modrese. So you can also prevent users from removing unsubscribe link inside of your sales sequence. This one is important because you want people to be able to unsubscribe from your emails if they do not want it. I know it's harsh to say that, but yes, that is just the reality. So you click on save when you are done with all of these, and this is for our CRM settings. So we are going to come back into the admin settings, and we are going to see how we can be able to bring in new users inside of our organization. So it's possible that you want to bring your sales team inside of your Freshsales account. You're not the only one that is going to be using the CRM, and you want to bring other people inside of this account. This is where you're going to go to. You're going to go to teams and territories. You're going to go to users, and when you click on users here, you can be able to import multiple users inside of the organization. As you can see here, this is me, Emma Glory, and if I want to bring another person, I just click on add new user here, and I can be able to fill in all of this information. So I just need their name and I just need their full name. So let me do that. Okay, so here is what you're going to do. You're going to add the email of the person you are bringing in. You're also going to add their full name, and then you can add the job title and all of this. But before we do this, let me show you something that is actually very important prior to this. Okay, so if I go back to users in here and I go back to my admin settings, I want to show you how to create a team first before I create users. Okay, so I can be able to create different teams inside of my Freshsales account. So remember, you go to admin settings, then you go to teams, then you go over to sales team in here. Let me shrink myself. Okay, so when you click on sales team under teams and territories, you can be able to create a team. And this is actually very, very good if you have different people in your organization. You want to be able to bring the operations team, the onboarding team, the sales team, whatever team you currently have in your organization. Just click on create team in here and you can be able to bring people inside of this team. So I want to create a team and I want to name them inbound sales. So I want to name them inbound sales and I can be able to add multiple team members inside of this place. So we only have one person, which is Emma Glory. Okay, so you can see the team members, you can type them, but you can also add them in here. So I want to add Emma Glory to inbound sales. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to click on save. So Emma is going to be added to this team inside of this place. You can create multiple teams, you can create onboarding teams. This allows you to be able to separate people inside different places. Even when you start creating or maybe task or anything, you can be able to assign to team instead of assigning to individual users. This actually helps to make the CRM more organized. Okay, so after you've done that, you can then come back to your admin settings, go to teams and territories again, then click on users. The next one you can create now after creating teams is also roles. You can click on, you can be able to create different roles for different people. So it is possible that when you are bringing people in inside of your CRM, you want them to have access to some things and not everything in the CRM. And this is where roles actually comes in. We have different roles inside of Fresh Sales. This one has already been created by Freshsales. You can add more roles if you want, and you can also decide to assign users to this particular roles inside of your sales CRM or your Freshsales CRM. Okay, so when you see account admin in here, you can be able to manage their permission in here, where you can see all of the things the admin actually have access to. And as the admin, they should actually have access to almost everything, and that is because the admin should be in charge of the CRM. And as you can see, Freshsales is allowing them to have access to everything because as admin they need to. Okay, so you can edit it if you want. You can also create a role. We have sales manager, we have sales user, we have restricted user, and the restricted user will also not be able to do some things. And if you click on manage permission for restricted users, you can see that they cannot create codes, they cannot even edit codes. You can see over here they cannot assign record, they cannot bulk assign record. You can even edit it if you want. You can say that restricted users should not have access to your contacts, they should not have access to your deals, especially they can have access to accounts if they want, they can have access to products. You can take that off. You can even create a new role. Click on save when you're done though. So when you click on save, you can create a new role and you can name them maybe sales intern, or you can name them what other roles do we have in organization? Yeah, we can name them sales intern or maybe operations manager, whatever it is. Just click on create roles and you can be able to so let's say we want to add the role here and we are going to name this sales intern. And we can say that this intent should be cloned from the administrator. So you can pick all records. That means they can have access to all records in all of the territories and all of the groups. And when you click on next, you can see that your sales intent role has been created already. And you can decide the things that the sales intent can actually do and cannot do. So for the contact, you can say that the sales intern should not have access to all records, or they can only have access to the records that is owned by them. So this actually helps so that they cannot be able to delete some other people's record. And this actually helps for sales rep too. If you do not want sales rep to be able to delete the record that is not from for them, you can use this in here. So you can do the same thing for accounts. You can say that for sales interns, they should be able to create tasks, they should be able to view meetings, but they should not be able to delete because we do not want them to be able to delete anything. So for sales intern also, if you want them to be able to create record, you can do that. So if you want them to create all of this record, you can. You do not want them to create product, just take that off and click on done. So the same thing applies for this. So after doing all of this setting in here, just make sure to look at whatever it is you want to add. Then you click on save and that is going to save your role. So, like I said, you can create roles for different things for sales intern, for managers, for assistant rep, whatever it is you want to do, you can actually do that. Okay, so that is how to add users and assign. Sorry, that's how to create teams and roles inside of Fresh Sales. Okay, so now let's create a user or let's invite a user inside of our Fresh Sales account. We go to teams and territories. We go to users in here, and if you have more than one user, you can actually bring them in. Okay, so as you can see here, we can add the email. No, not this. So let's add the email of my user. So I'm adding this, and the name of my user is Emma Jones, and I'm going to add Emma Jones Emma Jane to this, and you can add the job title, you can add all of this. You can also see the pipeline that they're going to be, which is the default pipeline. You can also decide that the role that this person is going to be taking is the account admin, because you want them to have access to a lot of things. But I do not have access to, I need to buy more license. Okay, then I'm going to just pick admin. And when I click on admin in here, I'm going to click on save. And when I click on save, that is going to save this user. And this user is going to see the particular email where they can be able to access and come in inside of fresh sales, so they can be able to create an account and they can be able to join the team. So if I click on this edit button again, I can also see that this rule has been added, and I can decide to manage who they are going to be reporting to. I can say this person is going to be reporting to Emma Glory, who is the manager, or who is the CEO. So it's just like an hierarchy. The sales rep will be reporting to the manager is going to be reporting to the general manager. The general manager is going to be reporting to the CEO, and the CEO can be reporting to the board of directors. Board of directors will be reporting to, I don't know, maybe to God. So when you're done, you just click on save. And when you click on save, it is going to save your user in here, and that person is going to get the they are going to get the access in their email, and they can be able to log into this email, to this account. Okay, so if you come over here also, you can see their last login and all of this. So that is how to manage users inside of your Fresh Sales account. Okay, so now that we've seen how to create users, we've seen how to create roles and teams. Now let's do other settings that we need for our organization. If I come over to my personal settings in here, I want to also connect my email, and that is because I want to be able to send and receive emails inside of Fresh Sales, and I also want to be able to track my email inside of this place. So I'm going to click on Gmail because I am using my Gmail account, and as you can see all of this, it is going to connect my Gmail, my Google account, sorry, my Google contacts and my Google calendar. This is actually great, because if you want to be able to bring those people that are sending you an email, you want to be able to create a contact or an account for them inside of your CRM, you can be able to do that. So you don't need to manually start importing your Google contacts inside of your CRM. The same thing applies for Microsoft Outlook. You can be able to click on Microsoft Outlook, and it is going to ask you if you want to do the two-way sync or the one-way sync, and you can be able to bring in all of the emails coming in inside of your organization and all of the ones going out inside of your organization inside of Fresh Sales. If you're doing the one way, you're saying that only emails that are sent from the CRM is going to only emails that are sent from the CRM is going to be synced to your email account, so you can connect your email. But since I am using a Google account, which is my Gmail account, I am going to be picking Gmail. Now, when you pick on Gmail, as you can see in here, it is asking me to sync for all of this. And also, one thing to note is that if you're using Zoho Mail, you can be able to connect your Zoho Mail also. You can also use others if you're using a special domain or your own business domain. But I'm not using domain for this account. I'm using Gmail. So I'm just going to click on Gmail. So for these, I can decide that I only want to import or I only want to connect my Gmail, and I don't want to connect my Google account. My Google contact and my Google calendar. I can then take off this if I want. So that means every of my Google contacts are not going to be brought into the CRM, and my Google calendar is not going to be synced inside of my Fresh Sales CRM. But I want to enable the two because I need my Google calendar, obviously. So I'm going to click on connect here, and it is going to take me to the place where I can be able to connect the particular account I want to use. So this is the Google account I want to use, and it is asking for permission, and I'm going to click on continue, and it's going to ask me to select all of this, what's it called? It's going to ask me to select all of this access. Now, it is important to note that if you do not actually pick all of this, that means you're not giving Fresh Sales access to all of this. So you want to make sure that you actually give them access, because if you do not give access, you're saying that you do not want them to read and compose your emails, or if you also do not give access to this, it is not going to edit and permanently delete your contact. If you do not give access to this, it's not going to have access to your calendars at all. But we want it to have access to everything. So I'm just going to give it access, and I'm going to click on continue, and it is going to help me it's going to help me connect my email inside of Fresh Sales. So you can see the Google contact that you currently have, and you can decide that, okay, I want to be able to connect or create a group for all of my Google contacts to be synced into this particular account. The best place to actually sync all of those contacts is it should be your contact, and that is because if there is any customers or if there's any leads that are trying to send you an email, you can be able to add them to your account place. And if you do not want to do that, you can also decide to add them to your co-workers or your family and friends. That is only if it is only family and friends that is sending you an email to that particular email address. But I would actually recommend you use my contact. So you can also decide that you do it later, but let's just save and proceed. And as you can see, that has actually connected my email inside of my Freshsales account. So my outgoing email is connected. I can be able to send outgoing email. I can also be able to receive incoming email inside of this. And if you also need help setting up your CRM account, you can also send an email to crminstructors101@gmail.com. You're free to do that. Yeah, you're free to chat us up. Okay, so now that it has been connected, another thing you can also do is that if you have a third party system, you can also be able to sync your contacts. If you click on sync contacts in here, you can be able to sync your contacts from your Gmail account to your Freshsales account. So you can also see that this is a one way sync from Google Contacts to Freshsales. So I'm just going to click on my contact and I'm going to click on save, and you can click on save and sync now. So let's save and sync now. Oh, the sync is already in progress. So let's just wait for it to sync in and we can be able to see that. So we have calendar and conferencing. You can be able to save and sync. You can be able to connect your Zoom link, your Zoom account or your Microsoft team. So if you are using Zoom for your contact and you want to be able to send Zoom link and you want to be able to connect your Zoom account to your Freshsales, you can actually use this. So our Google Calendar is already connected. So I'm just going to go to my calendar in here, and every of the thing that I'm actually adding to this is going to be added to my Google Calendar, and that is because it has been connected. It is actually important that you do this, because if you do not do this, you cannot send emails inside of Freshsales, and you cannot also be able to see all of the booked meetings you have in Freshsales inside of your Google Calendar. Okay, so now that is for that. So if I come back to my personal settings, I can also see my notification in here. You can also enable all of this notification. It is going to send you an email when it is a task is assigned to you, and all of this. You can also remove the ones you do not want actually, and you can see the others, phones and things. So if you go back to the contact, okay, so if you go back to contact, you can see in here that you have all of the contacts in here. And I want to also mention that the main purpose of we getting a CRM is for us to be able to connect this contact inside of our CRM. If there are contacts coming from the website, if there are contacts coming from WhatsApp, if there are contacts coming from Gmail, if there are contacts coming from wherever they are coming from, we want to be able to make sure that they're coming to one centralized place so that we can be able to see all of them at each particular time, and we can be able to nurture them from a particular place instead of having the contacts scattered in all over. Okay, so now that we are in the contact place, to add a new contact, you are going to click on add contact in here, and you are going to see where you can be able to add the different details of this contact you are bringing in. You can add in the name, you can add in the first name, you can also add in the account, which is also known as the complaint. Remember, you can also add in the mobile phone number and the job title. So when you're done, you click on save, and that is going to add your contact. Another thing to note is that you can also decide that you want to be able to customize all of this column in here. Column. You want to be able to customize all of this column in here, and you can be able to click on the plus sign here, and you can be able to add multiple fields inside of this column. Each of this column represents the details for each of these contacts. So you can also decide that, you know what, I want to be able to customize the field that I'm seeing in here, and you can be able to customize this table also in here. Okay, so now we can see this sample contact that was created by Freshsales. And if you click on each of those contacts, it is going to take you to the contacts page. And you can see the various things you can be able to see for each of these contacts. Each of these contacts in here. So this is the particular status for each of these particular contacts, and you can see in here that we have the status leads, new lead, we have contacted, we have interested, we have qualified or lost, or we have won. And for each of the contacts coming in, it is actually important that you actually take them through all of this. You can also edit this particular status. I'll be showing you how to do that in a minute. And you can also see the different details about this person. You can see the contact details, which is going to be showing you the different contact details for this particular person. Even if you want to create custom fields, we call it custom fields, where you can be able to create different things that you can be able to track for each of the contacts. So you can create custom fields like the location. You can create custom fields like the services they are interested in. You can create custom fields for their job title, their interest, the particular CRM they are using, which country they are coming from. So some of these custom fields have been created for you by Freshsales, and you do not need to do that. But if there's any new one you want to create, you can actually do that. And you can also be able to see the conversations you've had with this particular contact. If I start sending emails to this person through my Gmail, I am going to see all of the conversation in here. I can also be able to track if they opened it and if they clicked it. And this is very, very good, because if I'm trying to follow up on a lead and the lead is not responding, I need to check if they have actually opened the email first before I start sending and disturbing them. So if they have not opened it, I can then send them another email. But if they've opened it, we can give them a bit of a time to respond back to us. It is actually very important to have this. You can also see the chat if you've connected your conversation, your chatbot. You can also see the call log when you start making calls inside of Fresh Sales. The activities actually allows us to be able to see all of the activities that are being done for this particular contact. So we can see if we've created an activity for us to call them, or if we've created an activity for us to send a proposal to them, or to have a discovery call with them. We can see all of the activities in here, and the ones that are overdue, the ones that are actually the ones that are actually in progress, or the ones that are due, or the upcoming ones, we can see them also. We can see the notes that have been added for this particular contact. You can also click on add notes to add a note for this particular contact. You can create tasks where you can be able to create different tasks. You can see the tasks for you can see the tags for maybe you want to send a proposal, or you want to send the email, or you want to call them. You can also see the meeting in here, where you can be able to see where you can actually book a meeting with them. We're going to be seeing all of this under the activity section of this course, of this tutorial. So we'll definitely get there soon. Okay, so if I come over here, I can see the account, and this account means that this particular, we can be able to see the particular company that Jane is connected to. And we can see that Jane is connected to this widget .io, and you can see that she is actually coming from this company. And you can also see the deal that is connected to Jane. So that means if we're tracking Jane through a deal, and we're clicking, I mean, we're trying to take her through the different sales process we have, you can also see the deal that is connected to Jane. And you can also see the Freddy AI insights, where you can be able to see different insights according, we can be able to see different insights through the AI, which is Freddy AI. And you can see the possible duplicates that you currently have in the account, the possible connections that you also have. So the same thing applies for files. You can be able to see the PDFs, the PNG. You can even add a file for this person. So you can upload the file from your computer, and you can say that maybe you want to upload the proposal for Jane, or you want to upload the demo meeting recording for Jane. It allows you to be able to add that files, and you can be able to people coming in into the organization can be able to see the files connected to each of those contacts. That is actually very good. You can also see their apps in the marketplace and all of this. We do not need this. Okay, so that is for the contacts. Now, if you want to bring in new contacts, it is not possible for you to start creating each contact. Let's say you have 1,000 contacts and you want to start creating them manually. Obviously, that is a lot of work, and I'm very sure you do not want to do that. And that is why we can be able to import contacts inside of um, Fresh Sales. Now, to import contacts, you're going to click on import contact here, and you can be able to import from different sources. If you have your HubSpot account and you're trying to migrate from HubSpot to Fresh Sales, you can be able to connect that, and you will be able to connect that to sync in your leads and your contacts. Okay, so if you have CSV file, which is like the most popular one that people use, you can be able to download that CSV file, and you can be able to import this contact inside of your CSV file. So if I come over here, I have this dummy contact I use for my tutorials, and it is just dummy contact. So we can be able to see different names and the emails, the job titles, the city. We can see the country they are coming from, the life cycle stage, and all of these fields. Now, it is important that before you start bringing all of this inside of the CRM, you want to make sure that each of those fields have been created. Remember, I said custom fields are specific details about the contact or about the deal. So for us to be able to do this, we need to make sure that each of this has been brought in inside of the CRM. So we need to create the custom fields. Okay, so to create custom fields, you're going to come back in here, you're going to cancel this, and you're going to go to your settings. And when you go to your settings in here, you can click on lead, contact, and account. And when you click on that, you go to contact. And when you click on contact, it is going to take you to the place where you can be able to create different custom fields for your contacts. The same thing if you want to create for deal, you create for deal. And also, as you can see in here, you can decide to add a field, or you can add a group. So a group is just from the name, a group of fields. So if you want to collect financial information, maybe you want to collect their account number, or you want to collect their account name, their bank name, you can create a group and just add that, and you can add the name as financial information, or you can create a group for contact information. You can create a group for location information. It is just helping you to be able to structure your CRM, and you can be able to see the different custom fields that are belonging to the different groups. It just makes your CRM to be more organized actually. So before we continue today, I just want to quickly mention something that is going to make this course more easier for you. If you haven't downloaded the free Fresh Sales CRM workbook, I would actually recommend that you do that now. It is going to help you include sample contacts, companies, pipelines, email templates, workflow examples that are needed for your business, and also different exercises that we are going to be using throughout this tutorial. And it is also going to contain all of the information that is going to be needed for you to be able to build your own CRM from the start to the finish. You're going to find the download link in the description below. And also do not forget to like this video and also subscribe, and also do not forget to share with everyone who you think is going to need this video. So let's continue. Okay, now, so to create a custom field, you just need to determine what is actually important for your business. If you're in the real estate company, for instance, you want to create custom fields like the viewing date, the budget. You want to create custom fields like the name of the location they are interested in, different custom fields. And as you can see, the custom fields for contacts has been created. Some of them have been created for fresh sales, but it is actually very few, and you need to customize it yourself according to your own business. And that's one of the beautiful thing about fresh sales. So at this point, I'm going to say that if you are not subscribed to this channel, please do that right now, especially if you are gaining a lot from this video. We have a mission to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and you can actually make that happen for us. So please do not forget to subscribe and also like this video and share with everyone you think is going to need this video. All right, so now to create a new field, what we are going to do is we are going to be clicking on add field here. And as you can see, they have different options of fields that we can create. They also have all of these fields also that we can be able to add inside of our fresh sales accounts. And you can be able to select the ones that you need. For instance, we are going to need tags, we are going to need source, we are going to need address, city, state, country, zip code, life cycle stage. We are going to need that, obviously. We are going to need subscription status. Yes, we are going to need that. We're going to need score. We're going to need territory. We don't need Twitter. We don't need LinkedIn. We don't need campaign, or do we? No. We don't need medium. We don't need keyword. We don't need this. We don't need this yet. So you can also add the last contacted time. That is actually important. And the last contacted mode. You can be able to see the last time someone contacted a contact, maybe through email or through call. That is actually good. And active sales sequence. I love this because I want to see the sequences my contacts are actually currently in. I want to see the completed one also. Original medium, maybe original source, yes, obviously. And we can see the last activity date, last activity type. We can see the created by, the created ads. Oh my god, they have very good fields, very, very thoughtful fields. Okay, so we need the work email just in case we are going to be collecting two emails. I think that's it for now. And also, do make sure you're adding the only ones you need. Do not overwhelm yourself by adding everything. So you can also select all if you want, but I'm not selecting all, it's too much. So I'm just going to add this ones first. So it is going to add all of those fields to my contact fields. And even if I go back to my contacts in Fresh Sales, I can be able to see all of those fields. So let's give it a minute for it to add. And as you can see, it has added it. Oh my god, this is a lot. It's a lot, but it's needed. Okay, so I can be able to then start editing each of this field however I want. But if I go back to my spreadsheet in here, I can see the fields I have, and I can see if Fresh Sales already have it already, or if I need to create a new one. So we have the first name, the last name, the email. I'm going to go back to my Fresh Sales account. We have, obviously we have that, and we have job title. Let me see. I think yeah, we do have job title, and it is a text. We have company name. I think we should have company name. Company name is also account. So we do have that. So another thing I want to show you is that if you click on add field again, you can be able to see the different type of fields that they have. We have the text field, and the text field just allows us to be able to create text. Like we want to ask something like, what are you interested in, or want to ask something like, what is your name, or what is your father's name, what is your mother's name? Simple text where they can just be able to type on a straight line, a single line field from the name. And for text area, you can be able to ask for paragraphs. So you can allow them to write their art content by using the text area. So the text area allows us to be able to write paragraphs. You can ask, what is your mission for the discovery meeting? You can allow them to type in whatever it is they want. For numbers, we can see where we can be able to add different numbers. So if you click on add selected here, so you can add the number. The field type is number, obviously. So when you click on number, you can add the number format. So you can say something like you want to use this. So just pick the number format that is currently used in your own country. So we use this. Oh my god, I can't see. Oh, we use the first one. Okay, so for the tooltip, you can be able to describe the particular field you are creating. Maybe you can say something like, this is the number of contacts in their organization, or this is the number of employees in the organization. You can add whatever you want. Then you can add your placeholder value. This is actually very important if you are creating forms where they can be able to see the placeholder value, and they can be able to add whatever it is you know by using the placeholder value. You can also make it a required field, or you can show a field. Yes, show it. You can show it when you're creating a quick ad. If it's an important field and you want to be able to show it when you're adding a contact manually, you remember from that place, we can show that. We can also make it a required field if you want. Okay. So we can also decide to, okay, no, we can't do that. So we can track the edit history for this field if you want. So the same thing applies if you click on cancel and you click on add field. You can also see the one we have drop down, we have checkbox. So drop down just allows us to be able to add multiple options, and we can be able to pick one of those options. So you can also make it required, you can add it in quick view, and you can do all of this. You can also add your choices in here. So after drop down, we have checkbox, and checkbox just allows us to be able to create a field, and we can be able to check the box. So we can say something like, have we sent proposal? Then the checkbox can be created to say, yes, we've sent the proposal. So we are going to check that. It's just like a check. Oh my God. I hope that's not confusing. So a checkbox is just like a field where you can be able to check the particular field, and when you check it, you're obviously saying yes. So you can create something like proposal sent, and it is a checkbox. When you check that, you're saying that yes, proposal has been sent. After drop down, we have radio button. Radio button also allows us to be able to create options, but it is going to be a radio button instead of drop down. That means it's going to be listing the options, and you can be able to pick whichever one you want from as the radio button actually. So we also have date picker. Date picker allows us to be able to as it allows us to be able to ask some fields about dates. So we can ask questions like, what date are you available for this meeting, or what date are you available to view the property, or what date do you think it's okay for us to send the proposal. Just date questions that are going to be needed. Then you can ask for you can add this to a particular group like basic information, or basic information and telephone numbers if you want. So you can make it a read only field whereby people are just going to be able to read it and not edit it. You can also decide to show in a quick add view. So when you're done, you click on save. So after date picker, we have lookup, and lookup is actually allowing us to be able to add a field where we can be able to track another module that has been created inside of Fresh Sales. So for instance, if you've created a contact and you want to be able to track a salesperson for that particular contact, it is going to look up a particular thing. Even if you've created custom modules, which we are going to be checking in a minute, you can be able to track that custom module from here also. So let's say we want to be able to track the particular users in our organization. I want to create a field called salesperson. So now the salesperson attached to each of those contacts is going to be a user in our organization. Oh my God, I hope that's not confusing. Yeah, so we can also select placeholder text. We can make it required field. We can do all of this. After lookup, we now have multi-select. Multi-select is the opposite of drop down and radio button. So multi-select allows us to be able to pick multiple options when we are creating a contact, or when we are filling in that part for the field. I mean, for the contact. So we can ask questions like which service are you interested in? So they can be able to pick CRM audits, CRM setup, CRM configuration, CRM implementation. So they can be able to pick multiple options. That is for multi-select. And the other one we have is the URL, where they can be able to ask questions that have to do with URL, obviously, like a link. So we can ask questions like, what is your website? Or we can ask questions like maybe a link to something, and they can be able to just paste that link in here. So we have the formula field, where you can be able to calculate different formula. You can insert functions, different functions. You can also insert different operators like the plus. You can add multiple fields. You can subtract. You can even select the field you want to add. Maybe you want to calculate the today's date, or you want to calculate the past date, or you want to calculate their age. All of this can be done with the formula field. So you can also see after formula we have auto number. An auto number allows us to be able to create an auto number for each of the contacts. So for instance, we can say that we want to create maybe a contact ID, and we want the ID to be a particular format. So we can say something like, okay, for every contact coming in, we want to name them a particular thing that we can be able to track for each of the contacts coming in. So we can say this is the prefix. The prefix is the one in front of the number. Then we can add a starting number also. So we can say that the prefix should be, since we are called CRM instructors, I'm just going to name this. What should I name this? I'm going to name it CRM instructors. And as you can see, we can add the hash CRM instructors. You can change it however you want. You can say you don't want to use hash, and you can use hat. You can use whatever it is you want. Actually, you can name this however you want. You can use dollar sign. So now you can see the starting the number of digits. That means the number of the one in between is going to be 4 digits. You can increase it to 5. So that means you can even increase it to 2 or 3, and that depends on the number of contacts you are going to be getting. If you're going to be getting large contacts, I'll actually advise you increase something like 4, so that it can be CI, then 1001, 1002. Yeah, you can do this however you want. This is actually very nice, especially if you want to be able to track contacts based on all of this. And this is also something that can be used for invoice number, can be used for quote number, number ID, student ID. This is where you are going to do that. So you can also decide to track the feed history and do all of this. I think that's the last one. So that is for all of the fields we currently have inside of our sheet inside of fresh sales in here. So if I go back to my sheet in here, I can see that we have company name, we have city, we have country, we have life cycle stage. But now to check for the life cycle stage, I have to make sure that all of the options in here are correlating or are the same thing with what we are having inside of fresh sales. So I'm going to look for life cycle stage, and this is the life cycle stage in here. So I'm going to click on it here, and as you can see, we can change the name to whatever it is you want. You can also see that it is a drop down field. So it is asking us to go here to edit it. So we're going to click on this, and we should be able to edit our life cycle stage. So we have the life cycle stage inside of fresh sales. I can be able to edit this however I want. This is the life cycle for lead. And for lead, when a new lead comes in, we mark them as new lead. If they have been contacted, we mark them as contacted. If they are interested, we mark them as interested. And we can even say, when we mark them as interested, it should create a deal automatically. We are going to be seeing that at the latest section of this course. Okay, so we can see for the sales qualified, if we've qualified them, we can either qualify them or say that they are lost, or we can actually won, and we can mark them as one or this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit my new stage, and I'm going to add this particular one I have in here. We have new and we have contacted. We have new, we have contacted, we have qualified. So I'm going to go back to my deal stage. So we have qualified in here, we have new in here, we have contacted. I think we have 4, or we have closed one. So instead of using one in my first sale, I'm going to use one. I'm going to use closed one, sorry. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to put closed one, and I'm going to click on save, and that is going to save my lead stage. I can also add in multiple options if I want. If I want to add another status and I want to add something like um lost to competitors, I can also do that in here. So I can add that stage in here, and I can click on save, and that is going to save that particular stage. The same thing applies here. You can add multiple stage. Okay, so they have some rules in here that you can follow. Whenever a deal is won, we are going to change contact to customer. And that is because if we are winning a deal, obviously the person is a customer already. And we can say that when a deal is added, the contact is going to be add. The stage is going to be marked as, you can say maybe you want to mark as qualified lead, or you want to mark as customer if you want, or whatever it is you want. And you can even add a new entire life cycle stage if you want. So you can add something like lead, then maybe contact qualified, demo booked. You can do this however you want. And that's the beautiful thing about fresh sales. You can customize it however you want. Okay, so that is for life cycle stage. If I go back to my admin settings and I go back to my contact and I go back to my custom fields also. So that's for life cycle stage. For lead status, I need to do the same thing for lead status. I'm going to come back to lead status in here. So do we have status? We do. So I'm going to click on status in here, and I'm also going to click on here to edit my deal status. I mean my lead status. Okay, fresh sales is actually making my lead status to be the same thing as my life cycle stage. So if I do not want this, it's as easy as just creating a new lead status myself. So I'm going to go back to admin settings. I'm going to click on contact, and I am going to add in another one called lead status. But just for us not to have duplicate fields, we can just maintain that if you want. But I want to create a new one. So I'm going to click on add field. And when I click on add field, remember that it is a lead status and it can only have one option. So I'm going to be using the drop down or the radio button. But in this scenario, I want to use the drop down. So when you click on the drop down, you can be able to add selected, and it will ask you for the name of your field. So the name of our field inside of this place is lead status. So I'm going to be adding this, and I'm going to be coming over here, and I'm going to be adding the name of my lead status. Okay, as you can see here, it is a drop down, and I'm going to be adding it as a drop down. And for this, I'm going to be writing the purpose of this field, and I can also add the placeholder text if I want. I can also decide to add this to a particular group, so I'm going to be adding it to basic information, and I'm going to make this field require if I want, or I want to add it to the quick add if I want. So if I don't want to make it required, I can just take that off. That means for every contact that is being created, that must be added in there. If it is not added, it will not be saved. I actually want to make it required. Yeah, so we can also add the options for the choices that we currently have inside of our lead source. I mean, for lead status, sorry. So when you click on this place, let me try to add this as a drop down. So when I add this as a drop down, I can be able to copy the different lead status that I currently have. Actually, it's the same thing we have um inside of life cycle stage, but I'm just doing this to show you how to actually do it. Okay, so I've added in all of my options, and we have new, we have qualified, we have contacted and closed one, and I'm going to click on save. And when I save that, my field has been saved inside of this place. So I can also edit this if I want. I can also change the choices that I've already chosen. Okay, so the next one we have is service interest. So I'm going to be copying service interest, and I want to use it as a single line field. Remember that you can also add it yourself as a drop down field if you want. So let's use the text field, and we click on add selected. We add in the name, and we can make it required, and you can do all of this, and you can click on save. And now when you click on save, that has been saved. We can also look at the next one, which is deal value. That is for deals. This is for deals. We don't need that. uh so I'm just going to add downloaded resource. Okay, so we can add that as a single line field also. Okay, text field, we use this. I'm going to click on save for this also. And if I come back to my sheets, I'm just going to add in um lead status or lead source. So for lead source, we have different lead source actually, and this is actually a lot. So I'm going to add this as a drop down, and we're going to see all of the options we have. So I'm going to go back to, I'm very sure we have a lead source in here. Let me look for my lead source. Okay, so we have the lead source here. I'm going to click on this, and as you can see, it is a drop down also. Oh my god, they have a lot. So we can be able to add our own options in here, and these are the options that are decided by fresh sales that we cannot be able to edit, which is actually fine. But we can edit all of this ones. So if I come over to my spreadsheet here, the lead source I have is okay. Now so I've added in my options in here, and I'm going to click on save. And now when I click on save, that is going to save my lead source field, and that has been saved. So I made sure that all of these options were added in there. So for the downloaded resource, I think we've created that. Then for the clients here, now you can be able to add this as a drop down um or a single line field, but I would advise you use the drop down. So let's just add this as a drop down. So I'm going to add a field, and I'm going to name this. It is going to be a drop down, and I'm going to click on add selected, and this is the name of the field, and this is the internal name, and it is a drop down. And the options that we have in here for this is I've added in all of my options for the clients tier. So I'm just going to rearrange alphabetically, and I'm going to click on save, and that is going to save my options. I think that's all. Let's just keep it at that for this. And now I can then decide that okay, so now that all of this has been added, I want to import this contact inside of my Freshsales account. So like I said, you have to make sure that all of the custom fields have been created first before you start importing. So I'm going to download this, and you must download this as a CSV file or as a Excel file. So when you click on download here, you can see the multiple options. You can download as Excel or you can download as CSV. I love CSV. So when you click on this and you go back to custom fields, so you are going to go back to your contact, which is in here. You click on contact and you click on import contact, and we're going to be using CSV. And you click on next, and you can say you want to import contact only or you want to import contact and account. I would advise that when you're importing your contacts, you should also make sure you import your contact accounts, because it automatically assigns the contacts to the account. So when you click on next in here, you can be able to upload. You can be able to upload the file that you just you just downloaded. Click on upload file, and when you click on upload file, it's going to take you to your computer where you can add the file, and that the file has been added. And as you can see, these are all of the fields we currently have in our file, and these are the fields we have in Freshsales. So some of them has been mapped. You have to make sure that the ones that have been mapped are actually very correct. Because if imagine if you are mapping job title with name or job title with first name, oh my god, that would be so mean. And honestly, you do not want to do that. So you have to make sure that everything has been added the way it's supposed to be. So lead source detail is going to be added to lead source. So it is called source in Freshsales. So we're going to be adding that as source, and it's a drop down field actually. And you can also see, do we have webinar attended? I don't think so. We did not create it. That's fine. And yeah, so all of this that are not selected are not going to be imported inside of your CRM. So if you are seeing this danger sign, it is saying that it is not going to be mapped. And you can also decide to create a new field from here. So if, for instance, if I click on create new field, I can decide that the onboarding status should actually be a drop down field if I want. So I can decide to add that as a drop down field, and I can add in the name, which is onboarding status. I can just put that in here, and I can add in a new field. So when you click on add field, it is going to it is going to create that particular field for you. You can do the same thing for every of the ones that you currently have. So I think that's all. Account has been mapped with company name, city map with city. I'm just checking again to see if I'm not making any mistakes. And when you're done with mapping, the mapping is actually very important. So make sure you do the correct thing. Then you click on next. And when you click on next, it is going to take you to the place where it is asking you how this file is going to be imported. So if you want to be able to create new contacts from you only want to create new contact, you can just add in as create contact. It's possible that the contacts you are importing inside of this file, some of them actually exist in the CRM already. So you can say that, you know what, help me create and update the existing ones that we currently have. Or you can only say that, okay, only update the existing contact that we have inside of the CRM. So this is actually very important, because you can be able to do all of this option. You can create new contacts, and update the existing one that you have inside of your CRM. And you can also update only existing contacts if you want. Okay, so it is going to ask you, how are we going to identify the contacts that are already existing inside of the CRM? So it is showing you that for every contact that we are going to be updating, what is the unique value that is going to be checking in to update it? Because if this contact is available inside of the CRM, what are we going to check with to be able to see that, oh, this actually is available in the CRM? So we are picking the email. You can also pick the fresh sales ID if you have that already, or you can pick any of this, but the email is recommended because no two persons have the same email. The email is always unique wherever, from anybody from any country, anybody from any place. There is no two set of people that have the same email. So obviously, our unique value is going to be the email. You can also see more settings in here where you can add in a tag, you can add a life cycle stage if you want, and you can be able to update the SMS and status, subscription status if you want. So let's say we want to add in a tag. After we've created our tag, we can be able to add in the particular tag in here. I'm going to show you how to create a tag soon. So for the life cycle stage, we can say that everybody coming in should be a lead. Now, if they are a lead, we can click on lead in here and we can be able to add them as lead. So the same thing applies for SMS subscription. We can mark them as subscribed. And for email subscription, we can say that these people are actually subscribed to us. So you want to make sure that this is actually correct, because if you are adding in contacts that are not subscribed, you want to make sure you add them as unsubscribed. So it is very important to actually take note of this. So for the subscription type, you can say newsletter or promotional updates, whatever it is you want. Remember that this is actually very optional. You can decide not to do this. So you can click on, so you must click on, you confirm that you have agreed to receive emails from your organization. If you do not click on this, it's not going to import, because when you click on this, you are saying that yes, you have the right, or you have access, or you have the authorization for you to be able to send emails to this contact. So you can also click on your WhatsApp status, which is subscribe. And when you are done with all of the settings, you click on import now. Now, when you click on import now, Freshsales is going to import all of these contacts from this file down into your CRM. And this is actually very important if you are importing from your website, if you are importing from your spreadsheet you've had over the years, and you want to start using Freshsales as your CRM, you can be able to import by using this method. So let's wait for a bit for Freshsales to import all of this contacts, and we'll be able to see the new contacts we currently have in our organization. So before we move on to the next section of this course, I just want to mention something. If you're setting up Freshsales for your own business and you would like some guidelines specific to your own sales process, we offer a free discovery call where we can be able to learn more about your business and discuss the best way to approach your CRM implementation. This call is actually for businesses that are considering working with us in their CRM setup or implementation. So book your free discovery call. The link is in the description below. And also do not forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. So now let's move on. Okay, so as you can see, our import is in progress, and it is going to show us if they are created, or if they are updated, or if they are skipped, or if there's any errors. Actually, so if there's any errors, you can be able to see all of that in here. So that has been created. So it has created 20 contacts, and I need to refresh for me to see all of the contacts it just created. So when I click on refresh, our contacts are in, and that is actually so amazing. You can see all of the contacts that we just added in. We can see all of the status that we currently have. We can see we can see their name, the job title. We can also add in tags if we want. So before we go to the next stage, it is important for me to show you how to create tags. So tags inside of Freshsales are just like your labels. Let's say the labels for you to be able to track each of the contacts that you currently have inside of your CRM. So to add in tags, you click on tag here, and you can be able to add record tags. You can be able to add tags, and you can add maybe cold leads, you can add warm leads, you can add clients, referrals. So you just need to type the name of whatever you are going to be adding. So let's say we want to add referrals, and we want a referral. So we can click on add, and that is going to add that particular tag in here. So if you see here, you can be able to see the name of the tag. You can see the color of the tag, which you can change to whatever color you want. You can also maybe add cold leads, you can add warm leads, you can add whatever name of the tag you want to use. So whatever business you are in, there's some different tags you want to add for your business. So let's say, for instance, if someone is coming in and you want to be able to mark them based on the kind of product that they are buying from you, you can create tags. You can create products, and you can be able to add the name of the product as a tag. So that means you can then be able to place that tag on your contact. So for instance, if I want to add in CRM audits, we do CRM audits in CRM instructors, and we want to be able to add that as a tag. So I'm just going to add CRM audit as the name, and I can click on add in here, and that is going to add that. And I can also decide to change the color for this, and I can also decide to add email template tag. So for instance, if we have email templates that want to send for sales, if we have promotional email templates, if we have email templates for the different products we are selling, you can be able to create tags, and you can assign tags to your email templates. It actually helps you to build structure, and you can be able to see the labels for each of the email templates you are creating. We also have SMS template tag. we have file tags, and you can be able to create the same way we did for the record tags. Now, if I go back to my contacts and I'm going to see all of the new contacts I just added in, I can select this and I can be able to assign a tag to this particular contact. I can also decide to select everyone on this list, and it is going to select everyone, and I can then decide to add a tag to all of them. So let's say I want to add in a tag and I want to name this. So as you can see, it's brought in my code leads, and I can be able to assign this code leads. I can also decide to assign another tag if I want. I can assign multiple tags into this particular contact, and when I'm done, I just click on save, and that is going to save everyone. So if I click on this again, I can be able to update all of this particular contact, and I can say, you know what, I want to be able to update a particular field for everyone in this selection. So I can say that I want to update whatever field I want to update. I can say that I want to update. So let's say I want to update the onboarding status, and we can say that all the onboarding status that we have now is completed. Maybe we've been able to onboard everyone inside of the organization, or we can say the onboarding status is not started because we've not started the onboarding process. We can even say it is in progress. So you can do this for whatever fields you currently have in your fresh sales account, and you can be able to update. It's called mass updates. You can update multiple contacts. So you're just going to click on that, and we're going to choose this, and we're going to save this. Now, if it's going to mark everyone that we just selected, the onboarding status is going to be marked as in progress. Okay, so if I go back and I also click on this also, I can add to sequence. If I've created my sequence, I can decide to assign to a particular contact owner. I can add in a task. I can also decide to add to my power dialer, which is for calling, and I can see the multiple actions I can also do in here. I can merge the leads, I can send bulk SMS, I can also delete them if I want. So that is how to update the particular contact you have inside of Fresh Sales. Okay, so that is for that. Another thing we want to see in the contact place is that we want to be able to see the different views that we currently have inside of our organization. So you can see all of the views in here that was created by Fresh Sales, and you can be able to see your contacts. If you have multiple people in the organization, you want to be able to see the contacts that are actually assigned to you. You can also see the new contact that just came in inside of the organization, and you can see all contacts. You can see the recently imported, and you can also see all of these custom views that have been created by all of these views that have been created by Fresh Sales. You can see your territory contacts. You can see the recently modified. You can see the field, the contacts you have in recycle bin. You can see all of this. So let's say all of these ones are not actually aligned to your sales process. You can click on add new view, and you can be able to add a new view for yourself, and you can be able to pick whatever you want to view or whatever you want to filter with. So we can say we want to check in for everyone whose onboarding status is in progress, and it is going to filter that out, and you can click on apply. So when you click on apply in here, it is going to apply that, and you can see all of the particular contacts that their onboarding process or the onboarding status is in progress. You can also decide to show more in here, and you can decide to pick multiple options if you want. So you can also decide to add another filter, and you can say that maybe the city is known, or maybe the city contains a particular thing, or you can even check for people that are from a particular country. Maybe you want to check for people that are in the US and you are still onboarding them, or want to check in for the lead status. You can do a lot of things with this. So let's say you want to check in for the city is not empty, that means it has any value, and it is also going to filter based on this. And we can say we want to add another filter, and we also want to check again if the lead source is maybe from Instagram, or the lead source is from LinkedIn, or the lead source is from whatever source you want to use. So let's pick lead source here, and we can say that I want to check in for if the lead source is Instagram, or if the lead source is social media, or webinar, YouTube. You can select whatever it is you want to filter based on, and you click on apply, and that is going to apply that filter. And as you can see, we only have 12 people that are fulfilling all of this criteria. So you have to know that all of these are being filtered. That means all of these must be fulfilled for us to be able to create this view. Okay, so what that means is that everyone must be coming from this source, and they must also have this city, and they must also have city value, and they must also be in progress for the onboarding status. That means all of this must be fulfilled before they can be able to come inside of this view. So when I'm done, I'm going to click on save view, and I can be able to edit this and add this view, and I can say these are my hot leads. So you can add in whatever it is you want, whatever name you want, whatever custom view you want to add. And you can also say that only you should be able to see this custom view, or you want everyone in the organization to see it, or you can say that you only want selected people in the organization to see this particular view. So I am going to be saying everyone, and that's because I want everyone to be able to see our hot leads so that they can be able to follow up with them, send them emails, whatever it is they want to do. and I'm going to click on save, and that is going to save my particular view, and I can be able to see my view in here. So you can add in multiple views, as many as you want, and you can be able to create multiple view based on your own sales process. You do not need to be rigid about it. You can think outside of the box. Think about whatever process or whatever thing you want to be able to track inside of your organization. Okay, so that is for the contact, and that is how to create custom view inside of Freshsales. Now, if you go over to each of those contacts, we can be able to see all of this. So let's say I want to be able to send an email to Grace. Grace is actually part of the contact we just imported, and I can click on show all in here to show all of the custom fields that we currently have for Grace. So if you also want, you can decide that you do not want to show empty fields, and it is only going to show all of the fields that we currently have for Grace. And if we say we want to send Grace an email, just click on send email in here, and we can be able to create an email and send to Grace. Okay, so another thing to note is that you can also create a deal for Grace. So if you go back to the overview in here, you can be able to add a deal, and you can be able to create a deal for Grace. So Grace is coming from Skyline Events, and Skyline Events is using a Freshsales CRM, and they want CRM instructors to be able to set up their Freshsales CRM, and they come to us that, okay, we want you to do this and this for our Freshsales, want you to customize it according to our sales process. What we are going to do is that we are going to create a deal for them. Now, to create a deal, as you can see, it has added the related contacts, it has added the related accounts, and you do not need to change this. So if you want to add multiple contacts, maybe there's another person from an organization, another organization you want to add in here, or there's an entirely new contact you want to add, just type in the name of the person and you can be able to add that in here. So let's say I want to add Jack to this particular deal. So I'm going to say I want to add Jack Foster to this particular deal. That means we have two related contacts for this particular deal. Okay, so we're going to leave the account, the related account the way it is, and we can also add the deal name in here. So we can say Skyline Events Deal, or you can say Skyline CRM Audit or CRM Setup, or whatever you want to use for your business. You can add that in. You can also add the deal value, and remember that we have multiple currency already set up inside of Freshsales. So if you want to use Naira, you can do that. If you want to use USD, you can also do that. You can also add an entirely new currency if you want. And let's say this particular deal is $10,000. So this deal is $10,000, and we can be able to add the deal stage, which is new. And when I click on save, that is going to add my deal inside of my Freshsales account. And as you can see, the deal has been added. Okay, now as you can see, the deal has been created in here for Skyline CRM setup. So if I click on this deal here, it is going to take me to the tab where I can be able to see my deal. And I can also click on my deal, and I can be able to see the new Skyline CRM setup I just created, and I can also see the amount. Okay, so if I come back to my overview of this account, I can be able to email this contact. I can also decide to call her, but to make a call, we actually need to connect to Fresh Caller, and we'll be seeing that in another section actually. So we can also send an SMS, but we need to add an SMS provider to do that. You can add Swallow, you can add ClickSend, you can add this other one, ZipWhip, for you to be able to send SMS inside of Freshsales. So if I come back to my contacts, okay, so I'm going to check on Grace again, and now I want to send Grace an email. Now to send Grace an email, I'm going to click on send email here. Okay, now so I'm going to add the subject line of my email. So I am going to use this as my subject line, and I'm going to copy this in here. And as you can see, that has added in my subject line. And remember that we are sending to Grace, and we can then decide to use templates. Freshsales already have some amazing templates in here, or you can even decide to create a new template if you want. Okay, so we're naming this template onboarding email, and I'm going to add the subject line for this email. This is the subject line, and I'm going to add the copy of this email, which is this. I'm going to paste that in here. As you can see, the body of my email has been added, and it's automatically said that this is an invalid placeholder. And because this is a template, so I have to take this out, and I have to replace it with my first line, my first name field. So to do that, I am going to click on insert field in here, and I'm going to look for first name. The same thing applies if you are sending out email to this contact and you want to be able to add account field like their websites, or you want to add deal field like the deal value. Maybe you want to send an email after a deal has been created and say that your project has been created for $10,000. You can be able to insert all of this. You can insert the deal stage, the loss reason, probability, whatever it is you want to use. You can even insert the user field. The user field, like I'm the one sending this email out, so my details can be inserted inside of this email. Okay, so the one we need is actually for the contact, and we are inserting the contact first name. So then the system is automatically going to generate the first name for this particular contact. So you don't need to start typing I then their first name manually every time you send out an email. It automatically generates that. And also, this is the body of my email. I can do all of this settings for this email. I can say that I want to burden something, or I want to make it bold, I want to italize it, I want to underline it, whatever it is I want. Another thing I can do is that I can also highlight this, and I can also add a link. So I can say that this link should lead to our website, which is crminstructors.com. So when this leads to our website and we click on insert, as you can see, when they click on this link in here, it is going to take them to our website. Another thing I can also do is that I can attach a file to this template. I can say that I want to upload a file, maybe our PDF, or I want to attach our brand guideline, or I want to attach whatever it is you want to do, maybe their proposal, their demo recording, whatever it is you want to attach, you can actually attach to this email. So you can also decide to save this particular template and apply it to this. So when you click on save, it is saying here that this template is going to replace this email. So I'm going to click on that, and as you can see, it has replaced this in here, and I can now use this template and send to Grace. If I click on use template in here, I should be able to see the template I just created, which is onboarding email, and you can be able to see the template you want to use in here. You can create multiple templates, and it's important that the part you can be able to create templates is maybe you keep sending the same type of emails every time. Maybe when you want to book a call with someone, there's a particular type of template you use. You can create that template and send it out whenever you need it. So when you are done with all of this, you can then click on send, or you can click on schedule email. Another thing you can also do is that you can insert your field. You can add in a follow-up task. So you can say that you want to add in a follow-up task, and as you can see, generated the title for you. You can use this, or you can edit it however you want. You can say that the due date should be in 3 days, or the due date should be in whatever days you want, or you can pick a custom date and time. So let's say the due date should be in 3 days, and we can say that after we send out this email, we want to follow up with them to see if they have actually booked the call. So this is going to create a task after the email has been sent. So this is like a follow-up task that is going to be created when the email is sent. So we click on add task in here, and that is going to add the task. And you can also see in here that you can link this particular email to the contact in the to field, and you can also link to the deals. And this helps because if you're linking to the contact and deals, you can be able to see the email in the deal menu. You can also see it in the contact menu. It's going to give context to whoever is looking at the deal, so that they can be able to see, as someone being able to send an email to this particular contact associated with this deal, so that they cannot be able, so that they will make sure they are not sending out the emails again, so that they are not like duplicate emails. Okay, so another thing we want to do is that we want to insert unsubscribe. If you want, you can insert that, or you can remove that if you do not want that. You can also track this email, and this helps us to be able to track the email activities. Maybe if they open, if they click on the email. This is actually very important because I want to be able to know when these contacts actually open this email or when they click on this email. So when I'm done with all of this, I am going to click on send now, or I can even decide to schedule this email. So let's say Grace is currently in the midnight in her own time zone. I can then decide that, okay, I want to send this tomorrow or in 2 days or whatever days. So I'm sending out this tomorrow. So I can pick a particular date and time, and I can say that, okay, I want to send this out on Wednesday, and I want to select I want to send this out by 9 a.m. Or I can even send it at this particular time zone. So Grace is from London, or we can say Grace is currently in London, so I want to use the London time zone. I can use that, and I can say that I want to schedule this and pick a particular date and time, and I'm using Wednesday. So let's say I want to send this by Wednesday, and want to use 10 a.m. I can send this particular email. So she's unsubscribed actually, so I cannot be able to send out email to her, and that's because I did that in the settings that we do not want to be able to send to unsubscribed contacts. So to edit that, I am going to go over here and change these settings. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to click on save, and that is going to save that particular setting. So if I come back in here, I am going to click on send as per schedule, and as you can see, it is going to say, okay, this person is unsubscribed, so I'm going to send yes. So it is going to schedule this email to go out to that particular person. So if I click on Grace, I should be able to see the emails I actually just sent inside of my conversation. As you can see, this is the particular email that we just scheduled out to go out in, and it is going out in 18 hours, and you can be able to see if they open or if they click on this particular email. So another thing you can do is that you can make a call. You can also send SMS, which you need to add a third-party tool. You can also add in a note for this particular contact. You can use a template. If you currently have a template to add a note. So for instance, if you have multiple notes and it's almost consistent for each of the contacts, maybe when they book a call, you want to be able to add a note that the person booked a call, you can create a template for that, and you can say something like, this contact just booked a call. Okay, so then we can add the name of the template, and we can say this is a call template. You can add it whatever you want actually, and you can share this template with everyone if you want. So I'm going to save and apply this template, and I can be able to add this note to this particular contact. So when I click on done, as you can see, it added that particular note. So if I go back to my overview in here, I will be able to see the note in here that I just added. This contact just booked a discovery call with Jeff or with Emma. You can also add in another note here and just keep on adding notes. So the note is just to give context to the users of the CRM to be able to know who actually did what at what particular time. So if this particular contact was sent an email, you can add in a note, or you can add in notes for different things. Another thing you can also do inside of this contact page is that you can also create a task, and task is just our to-do list, what we want to be able to send out, or what we want to be able to do for this particular contact. So let's say we want to create a task to send a proposal to Grace. I am going to create this particular task, and I'm going to name this send proposal to Grace. So you can create tasks for different things. You can create tasks to call the contact, you can create that tasks to send emails, you can create tasks to send demo link, whatever it is you want to do in your organization. So the task is just like a to-do list or a reminder to do something. So you can add in the description for your task. You can also add the task type. So you can see we have follow-up, we have call reminder, and you can also come over to your settings in here, and you can be able to add different task type. So just look for sales activities here. It's under deals and pipeline. So when we click on this, we'll be able to see tasks in here, and you can be able to edit tasks, and you can create different type of tasks that you have in your organization. So another task that we have is email task. We have to-do list, to do. Another task that we have is proposal. We want to be able to send proposal to the contact. Another task that we can add is maybe demo call, or whatever it is you want to add, or follow up. Okay, we already have follow up. So after doing all of this, you click on save, and that is going to save that particular type. And if you come back again to Grace, so let's try and refresh this page. Okay, so if you click on task again, so we are sending proposal to Grace, and we can be able to pick the type of as you can see, it's already updated the tax type. So I want to pick proposal in here, and we can be able to select the due date for this. So we can say that the due date should be in a week time. That is, by a week time we should have sent out this proposal. And the outcome, we cannot add the outcome yet. That is because we have not been able to send out the proposal to the contact. You can also pick the due time, the due date and time. So let's say you want to pick 10:45 a.m. And you can also pick multiple collaborators you want to add to this. You can say that you want to add Emma Jane. That means they can be able to collaborate on this particular task. And you can also pick Emma or whoever you want. When you're done with adding this task, you can then click on save. And now that is going to save your task. And as you can see, the task has been created for Grace to send a proposal to Grace. Another thing we can do is that we can mark this task as complete whenever we are done with the task. So it is asking us to add the outcome of the task. So the outcome is they are interested and they are ready to move on. So we can add in a description for this, and we click on save, and that is going to save that particular task. And as you can see, it added a line through the particular task, and that is to let us know that this particular task has been completed. So when you're done with this, you can also click on meetings in here, where you can be able to add meetings. So let's say you want to be able to create a meeting for you want to have a meeting with Grace, and Grace wants us to, or she wants to have a meeting with us. When we click on add meeting in here, we can be able to add the title of our meeting. Okay, so you can add the title of our meeting, and you can say something like, this is an onboarding call, so, or onboarding meeting, or whatever it is you want to name it. So we're going to say that the meeting is going to be on the 17th, and we're going to be starting the meeting by 10 or 11 a.m. to on the 17th, and we're going to be stopping by 12 p.m. Yeah, so we can also decide that the meeting should be all day. There is no meeting that should be all day though, but if you have any meeting that is all day, you're actually free to do that. But no, we are not choosing all day. You can also add in the time zone for the meeting. So Grace is in London, so we're adding this for the London time zone. And we can also connect Zoom. We can connect Teams. Teams is for Microsoft Teams. You can also connect that. Or if the location is actually a physical location, you can make that you can add the location for the physical location, and we can say that this is for our office. We can say CRM instructor's office. Now this is for if the location is a physical location. But if it is a online location, like you want to use Google Meet or anything, you just need to copy the link and paste the link in here, and you can then add an outcome if you want. But since we've not add the meeting, we cannot add an outcome. You can also add meeting notes if you want inside of this place. So when you are done, you can then click on save. And remember that it is related to Grace. You can also add another contact you want to bring in into this meeting, and you click on save, and that is going to save this meeting. And when this meeting is saved, you can then decide that, okay, we want to add an outcome for this meeting, and we can say that the contact was interested after we add the onboarding meeting. You can also add in meeting notes, or you can use a template. So if you use a template, you can create template like the one we have for notes. You can then click on save, and that is going to save that particular outcome of the meeting. So another thing we can do is that we can reschedule this meeting, or we can call Grace, or we can delete this meeting. So this allows you to be able to see the upcoming meetings you have with Grace, and you can see the completed meetings that you have with Grace. Another thing we can do is our sales activities. We can be able to create custom sales activities. So if, for instance, you have sales activities that you do in your organization, you can create that. So let's say one of the sales activities we do is to send a CRM review email. So I'm just going to add that as an example. So this can be like an email, just any sales activities, even if it is to call, a follow-up call, an onboarding call, or a CRM review call, whatever it is, you can just add that. So if it is call, use the icon for call. If it is email, use the icon for email. Yeah, you can allow people to be able to use the mobile app. You can also show this activity in calendar, and you can be able to allow people to mark this as completed, and you can allow them to be able to edit the completed date. So you can also decide to edit this outcome for this particular email. So you can add in whatever outcome you want to add. You can say maybe lost to competitors, or you can say something like was sent to another organization, just however you want it. Okay, so when you're done with adding your sales activities, then you can click on save, and that is going to save your sales activities. So you can click on create sales activities, and you can click on add CRM email, and it is going to ask you to add the details for these sales activities, and you can schedule it. So it is scheduled like task, but it's just that it has more details than task. Okay, so that is for the sales activities. You can also decide to create a deal, but we already have a deal for this particular contact, so we do not need to create deal. Okay, so that is for the contact page. I know that was a lot, but I just wanted to make sure that you actually got everything you actually needed for the contact page. So another thing we can do inside of this place is that if you go over to the deals, we can be able to see all of the deals that we currently have inside of our organization. And this particular stages of the deals is called the sales pipeline. Remember that the sales pipeline is just helping us to track the different sales process that we currently have inside of our organization. So let's say, for instance, you do not like this sales pipeline that you have in here, and you want to create a new sales pipeline. You are going to go to your settings here, and you can be able to edit this pipeline. As you see over here, these are the stages of your pipeline. If you use a particular different stages of your sales process, you can actually edit this. And remember that the sales pipeline should be edited to your sales process. If you are a real estate company, what is the particular new stage you are going to be having up until when they become a closed one customer inside of your organization? So that is what you are going to be doing. So for instance, in CRM instructors, the new first stage we have is the new deal. So if you add this as new deal, we can then say that the next stage is the qualification. The next stage is the discovery call booked. So this stage is for discovery call booked. And maybe the next stage, we can add another stage, and we can say that this one is for discovery call completed. So I'm just going to change this to completed. And then we can be able to drag this and place it under discovery call booked. And then maybe after the discovery is done, then a proposal is sent. Now, after the proposal is sent, maybe then we can say that the proposal is signed, or the proposal is accepted, whatever it is you use in your business. And then add in another deal stage and say maybe contract signed, or whatever you want to use. So remember that this should be according to your own sales process. Now, the sales process for a real estate company is going to be different from a coaching business. It's going to be different from an agency or from a law firm. So you want to make sure that you are choosing this according to your own sales process. Now, when you are done with adding the names, you can then edit the probability. So what the probability means is that you can be able to add the likelihood of this deal converting to a deal at each particular stage. For the new deal, they are just coming in. It is very low. The probability is going to be low. So the probability of them becoming a customer is actually very, very low. And we can say at this stage, the probability at this stage should be 10. And when we qualify them, it is going to increase to maybe 30%. So we leave it as 30%. If the discovery call is booked, oh yeah, then the probability is now higher because now they're actually ready to move on with us. That is the reason why they booked the call. So we can say this part should be 40%. If the discovery call is completed, we can then say that this part should also be 40%. And the proposal is sent. Now, this is going to be where it is a 50-50 chance. If we are sending out this proposal, it is either they accept or is either they decline. So now, if they accept this proposal, we can then leave this as 80%. And we can say that if the contract is signed, that is going to be 90%. It is very rare for us to send out a contract and they have signed and then they do not become a customer. It is very, very low. So we can say that if the contract is sent, that is like a very high probability that obviously they've become they're already a customer. And for the one, it is definitely at 100%. You cannot edit it. And if it is lost, it is zero. So you can also decide that by default, you want to summarize these deals based on their weighted value. The weighted value is going to be calculated based on their probability. Now we are going to leave it as weighted value because they want to be able to see the forecasted value of our deal, not the actual deal value. So what that means is that it's not actually art, it's just the jargon. So what that actually means is that you want to be able to calculate each of the deal based on their probability instead of the actual deal value. So for instance, if all of the deals on the first stage, which is new deal, is $10,000, it is going to be calculating 10% of $10,000, which is $1,000. So instead of using the actual deal value, we are using the weighted deal value. So we're going to use that. And you can also say that the deal, every of the deals we currently have should go stale after 30 days. And this is going to help to highlight the deal in red, and you can be able to see that this deal is actually staled if it starts turning red. So that means the deal is staled. So when you're done with all of these settings, you click on save, and that is going to save your pipeline inside of Freshsales. And as you can see, it's already updated all of the stages we currently have, and you can see the new ones we currently added in. If you want to create a new entire if you want to create an entirely new pipeline, just click on settings again and click on create pipeline. Then you start the process from scratch again. You can add in your pipeline name. It's possible that you have multiple pipelines inside of your organization. So let's say you have something like sales pipeline, you have onboarding pipeline, you have operations pipeline, whatever pipeline you have, you can be able to add the different pipeline inside of your organization. Then you go through the same process we just went through. For this, you add the name of the pipeline, you add the probability, then you add the summarize these stages, whether by weighted value or by d value or whatever it is you want, and you click on save. Okay, so when you're done, you can also see that you can be able to track deals based by using the table, and that is going to add all of our deals in tables format. And we can also decide to use the pipeline, which is the Kanban view. And you can also see in here that we can be able to drag and drop each of these deals on wherever we want to drop them in. So for instance, the Skyline CRM setup we just created, let's say we've been able to qualify them. So we're going to add them to the qualified stage. And now when you add them to the qualified stage, as you can see, it has already added them in here. And we can also decide that we want to add, maybe after they book a call, we can then drag them to the discovery call booked. You can keep dragging until they become one. So another thing you can also do is that you can view based on the forecast. Now the forecast actually helps us to be able to calculate the amount we are expecting at each of the future months. So for July, we are expecting this particular amount. And remember that it is calculating based on the weighted value. So the probability of each of them converting multiplied by their deal value is the forecasted amount. Oh my God. I hope that's not confusing. Okay, so that is for the forecast value. And we can also calculate by quarter, and we can see the amount we are expecting each quarter based on the forecast value also. So you can also go by this place and you can click on group by. So let's say you want to group by maybe the deal type, or want to group by the status, or if you create a custom field for deals, you can also be able to group by those particular status or by the particular stages you have created. So if you go over here, so let's go back to our Kanban. I love the Kanban view more because it actually allows you to be able to see all of the deals in your organization in the different stages they are currently on. So if you click on Skyline events and we click on this particular deal, we can see all of the details of this deal. We can see the particular pipeline they are coming from. We can see the related accounts. We can see the related contacts. If you come over to the activities, you can add notes. You can add you can call them. You can send email. So we can send an email to this deal. We can also commit the deal. We can then send a note. We can create meetings like the way we did for contacts. We can also create a sales activities where we can be able to maybe send an email. You add in the dates or whatever time you want to use for the sales activity. You can also add in products. Now, so for products, you can be able to decide the particular product that is associated with a deal. And this is actually very good because if you have multiple products in your CRM and you want to be able to associate them with the different deals you have in your CRM, you can actually do that. Just search in the products you want to use, and these are the samples that were already created by Freshsales. So we are going to use this, and we can then decide. As you can see, this is, let's say this is the annual maintenance of our CRM, of their particular CRM, and they want to be able to do that for 4 of their CRMs, and want to add in a discount. We can say that this is our returning buyer. I want to add in a 10% discount, and as you can see, it's calculated the discount for the person, which is $800, and it has already taken that off from the main value of the deal. So when I'm done with that, I am then going to click on save. The same thing applies here. I can add in discount or I can add in fee. So if I add in a one-time fee in here, I can say that we charge setup fee for every of the contacts coming in inside of our organization. So let's say the setup fee is maybe $1,000 or whatever it is you want to use. So we can say the setup fee, it can be percentage, you can add it as 10%, or you can say that it is a fixed value. If it is a fixed value, we can say our setup fee is $1,000. So when you click on add, it is going to calculate that and it's going to add it to the total value of your particular product that you have in here. And as you can see, it inflated the amount by $1,000 and now it is $8,200. So when you are done with that, you just click on save. And when you click on save, that is going to save this particular product, and as you can see, it actually changed the value of this to $8,200. So now that is for the deals. And also, if you want to be able to move this particular deal to the different stages, just click on it. Just click on the particular stage, and as you can see, we clicked on proposal stage and we've been able to move this deal to the proposal stage. So I think this is actually all. You can create codes, but before we create codes, we are going to see how to create product first. So you can also see the product that have been associated in here. You can see your contact, you can see the deal team. If there is a team member associated with this deal, you can also see that. You can see all of the activities that you currently have. Maybe it is the notes, you can see the task that was created, you can see the meetings that was created, you can see the CRM review email that was actually created also. Okay, so that is for deals. And yeah, I hope that was not confusing. Okay, so if we cancel this and we go over to this place in here, we can be able to see the settings in here and we can be able to type up the product and we can be able to see the product catalog. So the product catalog just allows us to be able to add different product that we have inside our company, inside of our CRM. So let's say in CRM instructors, we have different products. So I currently have products. My product sheet is inside of my Google Sheet in here. So I'm going to pick my product sheet. Where is it? This is it. So I have all of these products that we currently sell in CRM instructors, and I can say that okay, I want to import all of these products inside of my Fresh Sales account. So instead of you bringing in the product one by one, it is important to note that you can actually import the product. And to do that, you're going to click on import products and you can be able to import all of those products by just adding it as a CSV file. Okay, so we have to make sure that all of the column we have inside of this place is created for products. Now, to make sure that that is done, okay, so we're going to click on the settings here and we're going to click on customize product deals, product fields. So it allows us to be able to add multiple fields that we currently have inside of our Google Sheet. So if you have any custom field in here, you can create the custom field inside of Fresh Sales by clicking on add field, and that is going to add a field for your product tab. Another thing we want to look at is we want to check in our conversation in here. And for the conversation, since we already synced our calendar and our email inside of the CRM, we can be able to see all of the emails that are coming in from our contacts, and we can also be able to see the emails that are being sent from our CRM, and you can be able to track those emails if they are open, if they are clicked, and if they are also bounced inside of the CRM. Another thing you can also do is that you can check for your email templates here, and when you click on email templates here, you can be able to create new templates. We already saw how to create templates, so today just go through the same process and you can be able to create an email template for your Fresh Sales account. So the other one you can also see is you can be able to check the bulk email metrics. So for instance, if you decide to send bulk emails, we can see the bulk emails that are scheduled. And also remember that if you want to send bulk emails, you just come over to contacts, you select the particular contact you want to send the emails to, then you click on bulk email here, and you can be able to add your recipient, you can be able to add the email templates, and um you can decide to send now or to schedule the email if you want. So whichever one works for you, you can use it. So that is actually how to send bulk emails. If you're using Freshsales for a while now, but you're not sure whether everything has been configured correctly inside of your CRM, a CRM audit can be very helpful for you. With a CRM audit, we are going to review your CRM setup. We are going to identify all of the areas that needs improvement. We are also going to highlight all of the automation opportunities, and we are going to provide practical recommendations to help you get more value from your CRM system. If you would like us to audit or review your Freshsales account, you will find the CRM audit link in the description below. So do not forget to book your audit today, and also do not forget to like this video and also share this video with everyone who you think is going to need this video, and also do not forget to subscribe. So let's move on to the next lesson. Okay, so that is how to set bulk emails, and you can also see your bulk email draft inside of this place. Okay, so you can also track your email opens, your clicks, you can track the opens, you can track the bounces, you can also add your phone, you can set up phone, fresh caller. Okay, you can also check for the clicks to see the emails that was clicked and the email that was bounced. So now let's see how we can be able to create a sales sequence inside of Freshsales. So one thing to note is that it is possible that we want to send emails for people that are just coming in inside of the organization. We want to be able to send emails to them at a specific date and at a specific time. Okay, so sales sequence just allows us to be able to create series of emails over a period of time. We can be able to create series of emails, tasks, call reminders, or whatever sales activities we want to also add inside of the sales sequence. So it just allows us to be able to create a particular workflow involving emails, involving tasks. We can say that if someone comes in inside of our organization for the first day, we want to send out an email, and maybe 3 days after we want to send an email again, and maybe 3 days after I want to create a task to follow up with the person or to send an email. So this is how the sequence works. So let's create a sequence and let's see how that is going to work. If you click on create sequence here, you can be able to create sequence for contact or for account, but we are creating for contact. Okay, but we are creating for contact for this particular sequence, and we can also say that we want to add contacts to this sequence, so we can be able to view based on the particular filter that we have. So we have all of those views inside of this place, and we can say that, you know what, I want to add only my contact into the sequence. So when you confirm that, it is going to calculate the number of people inside of this view, and you can be able to create a sequence for those people. You can also say that you want to create a sequence for those people that are hot leads, or you want to create sequence for those people that are cold leads, or those people that are slipping away. So you can be able to do this inside of this place. So we can also decide to exclude duplicate contact, and as you can see, that has been chosen. So we do not want a contact to be able to enter the sequence twice. So that is why we are excluding duplicate contact. We can also set the limit for contacts that are going to be entering the sequence. We can say that we want to make it 20 contacts per owner, or we can say 50 contacts per owner, or we can say 100 contacts per owner if you want. But I don't want to set the limit, so I'm just going to check that off. And as you can see here, we are naming the type of our sequence. We have outbound sequence, we have classic sequence, we have smart sequence. Okay, so the outbound sequence allows us to be able to execute all of our steps one after the other. So that means all of the steps inside of this sales sequence must be fulfilled inside of the outbound sequence. And the classic one actually allows us to execute our step on the day we have actually specified inside of the sequence. And we can say that all of this should be applied, all of this should happen by 4 p.m. or by 3 p.m. or by 2 a.m., whatever it is you want to use. So the smart sequence actually allows Freshsales to execute the relevant task or the relevant step inside of the workflow. But we are going to be using the outbound because we want to make sure that every of the steps are being performed one after the other. And we can say that what are the steps we want to add to this particular sales sequence. So we can say that I want to add an email, and if you add an email in here, you can be able to choose from all of the template that you have. So let's say we want to choose follow up after a meeting, and as you can see here, this has already brought in the subject line and the text in here. So we can be able to do the email settings here, and we can be able to change the from, we can change the reply to, we can add a CC, we can also include the sender's signature if we want. So we can say that after sending this email, we want to be able to add a delay, and we want to say that after 3 days of sending this email, it is going to go to the next it's going to go to the next task. You can also decide to remove contacts from the sequence if they have replied to this email. So if you do not want to remove contacts, even when they have replied, you can check this off. But you checking this means that every contact that actually reply in this email sequence is going to be taken off. So when you're done with the settings, also you are going to click on save in here, and that is going to save your step one. So now that our step one have been created, as you can see here, we have the step one, which is to send email, and we have a delay inside of this place. Sorry, I missed something. The delay is for before sending the emails, not after sending the email. So the delay is 3 days before this email is sent. Okay, so the next step, that means if we add anybody to this sequence, it is going to wait for 3 days before this email is sent, even after we've added them to the sequence. Or we can say that there should be no delay. If you do not want any delay to occur and you want them to be able to receive the email immediately after you add them to the sequence, just take this off, and that is going to remove the delay. When you're done, you click on save. And when you click on save, you can see all of the things you can also do inside of this place. After you can add an email, you can add a tag, you can add an email, and you can say that you want to check this condition first. So for this particular next stage, or this next step on the sequence, we can say that this should wait for if the email is sent, or we can use email activities. As you see, we have this email activities here if it is sent, and you can say if the follow-up is sent, that is the first one. That is the first step, which is step one. So if the first step is sent, then the next one is going to be sent. And we can also choose an email template from here also. And we can say that I want to follow up, or we want to send out the onboarding email. You can also view and edit the email in here, where you can be able to, change whatever it is you want to change, and click on save. So you can even add another condition, and you can say now if the email activity is, if there's any other option you want to add, you can also add that in. So you can on your advanced email settings, and you can say the email is going to be coming from this particular person, and the reply is going to be going to, if you want to change the reply to, you can actually do that. You can also include your sender's signature. You can track open and clicks, and you can also include the link to unsubscribe inside of the email. So you can also say that you should add a delay before this email is sent. So that means before step 2 is sent, we want to add a delay of 3 days. Now, I hope this is not confusing. The first one is going to be sent out immediately, but this one is going to be waiting for 3 days if after this one is sent, after this condition has been fulfilled. That means if the first one is sent, we are going to have to wait for 3 days before this second email is sent. So we are going to click on save here, and as you can see, that is going to save inside of this place, and it has added the delay in here, and it has also added the condition. If step 1 is sent, wait for 3 days, then the step 2 is sent. We can also see here that we can add an email reminder. If you want, you can also decide to add a task, and you can create a task, maybe a follow-up task, and you can be able to send this by using this condition. So you can say if the first email, or if the email 2 is sent, that is the previous step. If it is sent, we want to create a task and want to assign it to Emma Glory, or you can assign it to any of your team members. You can create a description for this particular task, and you can also add a due date for this task. Okay, so we can say that the due date is going to be, let's say we want to make that by 4 p.m. Okay, so we can also say that we want to add a delay before adding this task. So we can say that let's add a delay of 2 days. So a delay of 2 days before adding this task. So after 2 days, this task is going to be created. You can decide to remove contact if the outcome of the task is, so if you follow up with them by using that task and they are not interested, we want to also take them off of the sequence. You can also do this, and when you're done, you can click on save in here, and that is going to save your task. And as you can see, we have the first step, which is to send an email. The second step is to send an email if this one is sent after 3 days. The next step is to create a task, a follow-up task, and assign it to Emma Glory. If this second step is sent, and is going to wait for 2 days before we can create this contact. So after doing that, you can also add in a reminder task on for LinkedIn. You can decide to send a LinkedIn message. When you click on that, you can create that task to send a LinkedIn message, or to view profile, or whatever it is you want for LinkedIn. You can also decide to add a call reminder, and that is also going to be a task where you're going to be adding the name, you're going to be adding the due date, the due time, and you're also going to be saving it, or remove people if the call reminder is whatever it is you want to add. So you can also decide to add SMS, but we need to connect a SMS provider to our Fresh Sales accounts before we can be able to use this. So another thing to note is also that you can be able to do all of the settings inside of this place. So you can remove contacts who have gone through all of the steps, and as you can see, that has been ticked. You can remove contacts from the sequence after 21 days, or you can set whatever days you want. You can also remove contacts who do not have an owner. You can remove contacts who have replied to your email. So let's say you want them to be able to reply, and if they replied, maybe they replied, please take me off from your list, or they replied, oh, I'm ready to move on, then you can say that you want to remove everyone who replied from this particular sequence. You can also decide that you want to remove contacts whose email status is bounced, because if the email status is bounced, it could be that the email is actually incorrect, or it could also be that the email is currently not working. So you want to also take them off from the sequence so that you are not just sending out emails to a bad email address. So you can also decide to remove contacts who have actually unsubscribed, and I will advise that you actually take this, because you want to be able to make sure that every of the contacts that have unsubscribed from your list is taken off from your sales sequence. So you can see the advanced settings in here, which you can be able to say that you want to remove any contacts who have satisfied, and you can add in whatever condition you want to add. So you can say that if the source is a particular thing, or you can say if the status is something. So if we're able to update the status or the life cycle stage, so that means if the life cycle stage is a customer, we want to take them off of this list, off of the sequence, because a life cycle stage that is a customer means that they've already bought from us, and we do not want to add them to this onboarding workflow or this onboarding sequence. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on save, and that is going to save my condition. So now I am saying, now I am saying that for every contact who have become a customer, they are going to be removed from this particular sequence. So we're going to go over to this place, and we're going to name our sequence onboarding sequence. If you're watching this course as a part of a team, or you're planning to roll out fresh sales across your organization, we also provide customized CRM training for your business. So instead of training one person at a time, we can be able to train your entire sales team to answer questions specific to your own business, and to help everyone adopt the CRM more effectively inside of your business. If that is something you are interested in, you'll find the contact information to book your team training in the description below. And now, do not forget to like this video and also subscribe to this channel. And also, do not forget to download your workbook. The link is also in the description below. So let's move on to the next lesson. Okay, so we're going to name the sequence onboarding sequence, and remember that we're sending to hot leads, and you can be able to pick all of this option. And when you are done with everything, you can then click on save and start. Remember also that you want to make sure that these are the particular people you are sending this to. So you can also decide to add these people to the sequence, or you can just take them off and add them manually if you want. But I want to do this for, let's do this for uh let's do this for in no this is for my contact. So it's going to add everyone to my contact. And also it is going to help you calculate contacts. It is going to calculate the people that are currently in that particular view. And as you can see, it has changed to 32 contacts. You can also preview and add, you can preview the added contacts in here to see those people in there. And when you're done with all of the settings, you click on save and start. And that is going to save your sequence and also start your sequence. And as you can see, yeah, I need to add my domain. Actually, we are going to be seeing that in a minute. And you can see the emails that have been sent in the sequence. You can see the opened, you can see the clicked, you can see the verified, you can see those people that are waiting to enter, those people that existed, those people that actually exist from the sequence. And you can also see all of these. Okay, so this is our sales sequence in here, and if you want to create another sequence, you can just click on create sequence here, and you can then go through the same route. You also have different templates you can actually pick from. They have amazing templates that you can also pick from, and you can use the templates to create a new sequence for your business. Okay, so that is for sales sequence. Another thing we want to look at is we want to be able to see how to create workflows inside of fresh sales. Okay, so workflow is actually a bit different from sales sequence, in such a way that workflow is not only going to have emails, or is not going to have only tasks and emails. It is going to allow you to be able to automate any of your repetitive tasks you have inside of your first sales account. So to create a workflow, you are going to click on workflow here. And as you can see, workflow is under teams and territories. And when you click on that, you can be able to see the various workflows templates that they have. So you can create your own workflow, or you can use the particular templates that they have in here. So if you check all templates here, we can see all of the amazing templates that they have, and you can get started with it. And as you can see, you can be able to send welcome emails to new leads. You can send reminders. You can change contact status to interested. Remember that we do not have that in sequence, but now we have that in workflow. So that is the main difference between workflow and sequence. You cannot be able to do so. Sequence just allows us to be able to create emails, repetitive emails, or let me say, it allows us to be able to add people to a sequence of email, a flow of email over a period of time. But the workflow actually is more than that. Even though we can add emails in workflow, it allows us to be able to do every other thing we want to be able to automate inside of our Freshsales account, whether it is to update a field, or whether it is to change a particular status, or whether it is to create activities, or to add a or to change a contact owner, all of those. So because of this tutorial, we're going to be creating our own workflow from the scratch so we can see how to do that. So we can then decide to run this workflow for whether the contact or the account or the deals. So for instance, if you want to run for deals, you can say maybe you want to check for a particular deal. If it is more than $10,000, you want to assign to a particular contact owner, or you want to assign to the CEO in the fresh sales account, or you want to assign to the operational manager. And you can also say that if the life cycle stage is this, maybe you want to send an email or you want to do anything you want. So if you pick contact, we are going to be creating this workflow for the contact, and we are going to name this. Let's come back and name this. You can also select for sales activities, where you can be able to create workflows for your task, to create workflows for your meetings, for your call logs. You can also create workflows for this. So you can say that if a task is completed, you want to notify someone, or you can say that if a task is assigned to a particular person, you want to send an email to the person to let them know that the task has been assigned to them. So all of this process can be done by using workflows. You can also say if a meeting is completed, maybe you want to send an email, or if the meeting is completed, you want to send a notification to the contact owner also. So you can be able to switch this up however you want. You can say if a meeting is completed, you want to change the late status to contacted. So you can be able to do this however you want. So let's do for contact first. And if you try to create a workflow for contact, you can see the trigger here and start. So the trigger is just saying that what needs to happen before this workflow can actually start, or before a contact can enter into this workflow. What must happen to a contact before they can be able to enter into a workflow? So that's the meaning of the trigger. So for the trigger, we can say when a contact is created or updated, we can also pick all of this option, whether it is created or whether it is every day. That means if it is you're picking every day, you're saying that this workflow is going to be running every day for each of the contacts, or you can pick every week. So let's say you send a particular email to people every week, and you want to be able to send that automated emails to them, you can also pick every week. You can also choose every month. Maybe you are sending something like newsletter emails or whatever it is you want to use, you can then use every month. Okay, so we can also say that if we are using when a contact is created, that means when a contact is created, we are saying that immediately a contact is created, we can be able to run the workflow for them, and we can pick that we want to choose once for this contact. And if you are picking created or updated, you can see in here that you want to choose repeatedly for the same contact. So that means even if the contact is updated or created, you can decide that every time it is updated, you want to create this workflow repeatedly for the same contact. I would advise you do not do this, especially if you do not want to create a loop and you want to make sure that for any instance or any part you're going to be picking this, you're actually correct with the trigger. Okay, so we are going to be using when the contact is created, and we're going to be just picking this once for the contact, and we can be able to choose whatever condition. So let's say a contact has been created. What are the conditions we need to look out for before they can enter into this workflow? So we can say that if the contact email is available, or we can say if the job title is manager, or we can say that if the account is available, or we can even say if they have a particular tag. We can say that if they have a tag called code leads, or they have the tag called whatever tag that you've created already, you can use that as a condition. And remember that condition is just saying that what needs, after we've checked in for the trigger, what are the conditions to look for before we can be able to add them into this workflow. So we are going to be using status, and we are going to say that if they are in a particular status, we have status in here, and we can say that if they are contacted, maybe we want to send an email. Another thing you can also do is that you can be able to add another condition in here, and you can say something like if they are in the status contacted, and maybe if the email is present. Remember that you can even use your custom fields. If you have custom fields already inside of Freshsales, you can be able to pick them for this particular condition, and you can say that if the contact status isn't contacted, and if so let's use contacted, and if email is currently not empty. So we can say if the primary email is not empty. So that means we are checking in for everyone that is contacted and for everyone whose email is not empty. Then we can also add in another group. So another group means that we are creating another group of condition. So this other group of condition allows us to be able to use the and or. So the thing with and or is that you can say that if this group is done and this group is done, then they can move on to the next stage. If you are using or, you are saying that if this group is done, or if this group is done, they can move to the next stage. So if you are saying or, you are saying that any of this group can be fulfilled before the next stage is being done, or before the workflow is being triggered for the particular contact. You can also say that if the life cycle stage is, maybe let's say if the life cycle stage is now qualified leads, we can also say that we want to add another condition, and we want to say if the contact is also let's say if the tag is, we can also say if the contact tag is cold lead. So I'm just using this as an example. It's a weird example, but it's just for tutorial sake. So that means the first condition, the first group that we have in here is if the contact is in the contacted stage, if the status is in the contacted status, and if the email is not empty. So the system is going to check for this, and is also going to check for this since we are using the or. And it's going to select everyone that is fulfilling this first group, and it's also going to check for everyone that is fulfilling the second group together. And that's because we are using or, and it can pick anyone from there. So even if this first group is not fulfilled, but the second one is fulfilled, they are going to be added to the workflow. If we're using and, we are saying that this first one must be checked first, and if it is checked, the second one must also be checked before they can be entered into the workflow. So that means even if there is a contact that is in the contacted stage, their emails are not empty, or a contact, and a contact is also in the sales qualified stage, but they are not in the cold lead, it is not going to fulfill this. They're not going to move on with the workflow. So if any of these criteria are not fulfilled, it is not going to work because we are using the hand. The hand is like a restriction to allow all of the conditions be fulfilled before they can move to the next stage. Okay, so if we're picking her, we are selecting her, and we can be able to add multiple groups. Um you can add multiple groups for this particular condition, but I will advise that you are very careful when you're creating these conditions because it can get confusing very, very fast. So you can also decide what action you want to execute for this particular people that fulfill this criteria. So we can say, as you can see, they have a lot you can do inside of this place. So since this person has been contacted, so these people are now in the qualified lead stage and the contacted status, we can say we want to update the contact. So when you click on update contacts here, you can be able to select the particular contact you want to update. And you can say for this set of people, maybe you want to update the status, or you want to update the life cycle stage, or you want to update the suspicion status or the lost reason, whatever contact or whatever field you have already created, you can be able to update that. So let's say we want to update the clients here, and we want to use a reference value. Oh, sorry, we want to use a fixed value, and that is going to pick the particular feed value that we have. And we can say that everyone that is fulfilling this should be moved to the good cleansed tier. So you can also add another action, and when you click on add action, you can be able to pick whether you're adding for the contact or for the deal. So we're adding for the contact actually. So I'm going to say this action is for the contact, and you can trigger a webhook. You can send a sales email to the owner. You can send emails to the contact team. You can even send emails to the contact. You can add in a task. You can send SMS to the owner and to the contact, or you can even add a deal. You can add a tag also, and you can remove tag and you can add contact in. So if you click on add deal here, you can be able to add all of these details, and it is going to create a deal automatically if someone fulfills these conditions that we have in here. So if you come over here, we can say the related contact should be the contact and the workflow. Obviously the account should also be the contact primary account, and this is going to be generated automatically for you by Fresh Sales, so you don't need to worry about this. So you can also say that the deal type you want to use is new, and you can see the name has been generated by Fresh Sales. But if you do not like the name, you can be able to type in whatever name you want to add, and you can say maybe this is going to be called the contact first name and the last name deal. But as you can see, it has added the deal type, and we can use the deal type if we want. So let's put this as professional service, and it's going to pick the first name and the last name, then it's going to add in the dash, then professional service. Okay, so if we choose the currency in here, as you can see, we can use a fixed value. We are going to be using the USD, and we can also say that the deal value should be $10,000 for those people. So we can say for every deal that is going to be created by this workflow should be $10,000. And we can also add to our pipeline. We have a default pipeline that we just created, and we can also say that for everyone that is coming in from this workflow, we do not want to add them to new deal because we've actually qualified them. So we're going to be adding them to the qualification stage. So when you add them to the qualification stage in here, as you can see, that has been added. You can also decide to change the forecast category to use fixed value or the reference value if you want. But we're going to be using the fixed value. And we can say that I want to make this expected close date should be maybe a particular date, or we can say, so if we want to use particular dates, we can say that every of these deals should be closed by. Okay, so let's say everyone should be, the close date should be in August 3, and that is going to set the close date. Another thing you can also do is that you can use a reference value, and you can pick a date where you can be able to pick a date for that particular closed date. So if you created the date and you created the date for something like when are you expecting your proposal, and they actually fill in a particular date, you can use that particular date as a reference value instead of you picking a fixed date. But let's just use a fixed value, and we are going to pick So let's say I want to pick August, I want to pick 4th of August. And then when you're done with this, you can then click on save. Another thing you can also do is that you can add for deals. So even if you create the workflow for contact, like I did inside of the space, you can also decide to add a particular action for deals. So since we've created the deals for this space, we can add actions for deals, and we can say we want to update all related deals, and maybe we want to update the currency, or want to update the close date, or want to update the sales owner to a particular person. If you have custom field that has been created for the deals, you can be able to update all of the custom fields that you have in your deals module also. Okay, so when you're done, you then click on so let's use a fixed value, so we can be able to say all of the we want to update all of the deals and want to change the sales owner to Emma Glory. The same thing applies if you have custom fields. You can actually do the same thing. So you can add action also, and you can be able to even set the workflow for a related account. So for every account that is related to all of this contact, you can be able to create, or you can be able to update a particular field for them. So let's say we want to change this business type, or want to change the sales owner for the account also, and we want to use a fixed value, and we also want to use Emma Glory. If you have a custom field already for account, you can also do the same thing. So you can add in as many actions as you want, but just make sure that whatever action you are doing, you are configuring it correctly. If you want to send out email, you want to make sure that the emails are being sent properly. If you want to update contact, you make sure that you are doing that properly also. And if you want to add a tax, you make sure you are doing it properly. So if you want to add in a tag, you can just pick the particular tags you want to add, and maybe you want to add these people as new. Okay, we have referral. You can add them as contacted, or you can add them as hot leads. You can do this however you want. So if you do not have the tag in the system, Fresh Sales allows you to be able to create a new tag, and as you can see, that is going to create a new tag for us, and we're then that is going to be created. So let me say this is my hot leads workflow. Okay, so this is my hot leads workflow. And when I am done, I can then save as draft. I can also test my workflow in here, which is going to allow me to pick a particular contact. And I can be able to test the workflow by using that particular contact inside of Fresh Sales. Okay, so when you are done with your workflow, you want to click on enable, and that is going to activate your workflow. Okay, so when you click on enable here, as you can see, it is going to add that workflow, and you can be able to see the workflow that is active. You can see them in here. So let's edit this name. So when you click on this place, you can be able to edit this. So let me change this to hot late workflow. Okay. So when you're done, you click on save, and your name of the workflow has been saved. So you can see all of the workflows that are active. You can see all of the inactive workflows, and you can also be able to create a workflow from any of the two. So that is how to create workflows inside of Fresh Sales. Okay, so now that we've seen how to create workflows, now let's go ahead and see how to create reports inside of Fresh Sales. So the important thing to note is that as this is a sales CRM, this is a very, very big part of Fresh Sales, because you want to be able to track whatever is going on in your CRM. You want to be able to track the revenue. You want to be able to track the contacts coming in. You want to be able to track the activity and tags that has been completed over time. You want to be able to track the amount you've been able to get for your deals compared to your targets. All of this can be done by using reports. And as you can see in here, they have some curated reports for us that they've already made. It is predefined. So they already did it for us. You can see your private reports. If you want to create reports for revenue, maybe you want to track the amount of deals and everything, and you only want yourself, only you is going to see the reports. It is going to be under your private reports. And if there's any other team members that are creating reports inside of your Fresh Sales account, and they are going to be able to share them with you, you can see them under the shared reports. So if you want to create reports, all you need to do is to come over here to the new report, and it's going to take you to the place where you can create a new one, a new report. And if you are a beginner and you want to see the templates that they currently have, you can see all of the templates that we have in here. As you can see, they have the sales essentials dashboard, they have the product dashboard, they have the sales trends, sales forecast, the sales dashboard. So if you click on the sales essential dashboard, you are going to see the type of dashboard that they currently have in here. And as you can see, we are tracking the revenue won, the revenue lost, the open deals by stage. You can even configure this for yourself. So you just click on edit, and you can be able to edit this particular dashboard. Okay, so if you want to edit this, you can be able to edit this by if you want to change this to, if this is a number, you can just leave it as number. So you can change this one to, maybe you want to use bar chart. If you do not want to use the funnel, you can also do the same thing in here. You can use donut charts. So if you do not like this one that they've been able to create for you can actually create a new one. So let's discard this and let's create a new one ourselves. So if you click on new reports in here, you can be able to see where it is going to take you to the place where you can be able to edit your own report yourself. So you can add different widgets inside of this place, and you can be able to add from their gallery. They have some widgets already, and you can be able to pick from the gallery of the one you want to use. So you can add maybe the this one is for accounts. So this every of this report is actually for accounts. You can be able to pick whatever it is you want, and you can be able to add that to your report. So you can also change this to contact, you can change this to deal, and it is going to bring out all of the widgets or all of the reports or all of the widget. Okay, this is for contacts. We can be able to see contacts group by sales owner. We can be able to see contacts that are updated by a particular person, or contacts that are grouped by tag. And when you drag them in here, you can be able to see each of them. And let's say we want to pick contact group by status. They actually have a lot, like a lot of things. So I'm just going to pick some selected ones. This one is grouping by service interest. What I'm Okay, we can be able to see the contact group by sales owner. So we can see here that we have the total contact, and it is checking for the first contacted. So I'm just going to remove this filter in here, and I'm going to use the date dimension is created. So we're going to be using the create date. Yeah, we're using created ads, and we're not checking for the last 30 days. Yeah, is anything. So if the created ad is anything, that means all time. And we can also see the total in there. We can see the total number of contacts, or we can see the percentage. And we can also say we should group by the sales owner. And if you click on apply in here, it is going to apply that, and you can see now we're checking for the total contacts, and it is grouping by the sales owner. So if you have multiple sales owner inside of your first sales account, you can be able to group by sales owner. You can also group by different things. Actually, you can group by sales owner, you can group by the contact score, you can group by whatever options they have. They actually have a lot. So you can group by sales owner, then the original source. Then you click on apply. You can group by original source, you can group by contact score, whatever it is you want. So I'm going to group by only sales owner, and I'm going to click on apply. And as you can see, it applied that, and we can see the, if we have multiple people inside of this account, we can be able to see the contacts that each of the contacts are actually having in here. So let us expand this. Yeah, so I'm going to go over with this, and we can still want to check for the total contact group by tags. So you can also edit this and change this first contacted. You can change it to created at, and you can also decide to change the metric. We're using tags obviously, but you can change it to whatever it is you want inside of this place. If you want to use tags, you can do that. You can also group by another thing by clicking on this group by here, and you can pick whatever it is you want to group by again. Okay, so let's cancel this, and let's change this to um we don't want to use last 30 days. So let's use created is anything. So is anything is going to pick from all of the dates. So I'm going to click on apply, and that is going to group all of our contacts based on whatever tags we have available in here. Okay, so our contact group by tags. As you can see, these are all of the tags we have inside of our system, and we can also see the contact group by status. So if I say I want to check in for my contact group by status in here, I'm just going to click on this to configure it, and I am going to say this is the total contacts obviously, and we are checking for the date dimension is, we don't want to use first contacted, we want to use the created at, and we also want to check in for contacts all of the contacts we've ever had. So we say contact is created at anything, and that is going to check for all of the dates. And we can also see that we are grouping by status. Remember that you can group by a lot of things. You can even group by the custom fields you have already created inside of your account. So when you click on apply in here, this is going to group by our status inside of the space. And as you can see, we have the new, qualified, closed one, and contacted. If you do not want to use the bar chart, you can use the donuts chart, you can use the funnel chart, you can use the options that they've provided for us in here. So let me reduce this a bit so I can expand this. Okay, great. So we can use the funnel chart, we can use the heat map, we can use the horizontal, we can use the pie chart. You can choose this however you want. And we have the last one where we are choosing by service interest. So we are going to be checking for the total of the contact, not percentage, and we are going to be checking for um all time, which is anything, and we are also going to be using created ads. So is created ads, and what we are grouping by is also by service interest, and we click on apply for this, and this is also going to help us group our contacts based on their service interest. So remember that this is just an example. You need to make sure to know what you're actually checking for before you start creating your reports. So we are grouping by sales service, and we can see those people that are from implementation for CRM training. We can also decide to use the donuts chart to see it on a donuts chart. So when you're done with everything you want to do, you want to click on save. You can also add another widget if you want. So when you click on add widget, you can be able to maybe add chat, but this place is full, so I'm just going to keep it the way. I'm going to leave it that way. So when I'm done, I can then decide to name this report. So I can say this is Emma's report, or you can name it whatever it is you want. And when you're done, you click on save, and that is going to save our report. So when you're done with the report, another thing you can be able to see is if you go to analytics, you can see your created reports. And now if I go to my report, I can be able to see the report I just created. You can do this for any number of reports you want to create. If you want to create sales reports, contact reports, whatever it is you want to do, you can actually do that. And if you go over to your dashboards in here, you can see the dashboards that are currently available inside of your Fresh Sales account. These are the dashboards that were created by that was created by Fresh Sales. We have the sales essential dashboard, we have the sales dashboard, and you can also decide to edit them if you want. So if you click on edit here, you can be able to edit each of these. So if you click on configure here, you can see that this is checking for our deal value, and we are grouping by the deal stage. So it is checking for the deal value on each of the stage. So for this one, we are checking for the contact owner. For this one, we are checking for the contact that is created over time. So if you want to create a new dashboard, you can a new report. We can bring in our Emma reports, and we can be able to bring that inside of this place. And as you can see, this is going to add that into our dashboard. So this was the report we just created, and it has added it inside of this particular dashboard in here. So you can do the same thing for any of the other reports you have. As you can see, they have a lot of reports that we can actually use. You have the sales forecast, and you can be able to edit each of them. So you need to create your report first before you can be able to add them to your dashboard. So the dashboard is just like it's just the multiple, what's it called, it's just for us to be able to see the reports on a dashboard, as simple as that is. So if you want to edit each of them, like I said, just click on edit, and you can be able to change. If you want to edit it, just click on whatever it is you want to edit, then click on configure, and this is, you can be able to change whatever it is you want. If you want to change the date, if you want to change the deal stage, if you want to change the group by, you can be able to do that. Okay, so that is for dashboard and reports. So now that we've seen workflow, we've seen dashboard and reports, there is something I actually forgot to mention. Inside of Fresh Sales, we can be able to create a custom module, and a custom module just allows us to be able to create another module from the basic contacts, or basic contact deals or leads. So for instance, if you're not using the leads, contact, and account, and you're using something different, let's say you're a coaching business and you do not want to name them leads, contacts, and accounts, and you want to be able to name them like maybe you want to name them coaches, or you want to name them students, or you want to have a tab for, or a menu for courses. You can be able to create a custom module, and we can say, for instance, if you want to add a module here, you can be able to add the name of the module. So the singular name for students is going to be students, then the plural name is going to be students. And yes, it has already added that in. And you can be able to see the internal name here. So you can be able to add whatever icon it is you want to add for this. So I'm going to be adding this. And you can be able to describe this module. So we can say this is for the students in our coaching business. Then we click on save, and that is going to save our module inside of this place. So now we can be able to see the module inside of this place in here. As you can see, when I click on this place, I can see my students, and I can be able to do everything that I do for my leads, that I do for my contacts, that I do for my deals. I can be able to import students. I can be able to also view the import history, I can be able to go inside of my settings and click on this, and I can click on my custom module, and I can click on this student in here, and I can click on customize field to create any type of field I want to create for this person or for this particular module. I can add in a lookup field where I can connect the students to the courses. You can do it however you want. So for instance, if this is a sales CRM, right? But if you're not using the leads, contacts, or deals, you can be able to do this. You can just create different modules that actually fit your own sales process or that fit your business, and you can be able to create different custom fields for that. So you can create custom fields that maybe checkbox or text, and you're asking them their name, their first name. You can create text area where they can be able to tell you their ambitions or their passions. You can create number where you're asking for the number of courses they want to take. You can create drop down to let you know the you can ask them for the particular courses they are interested in. Maybe they are interested in CRM management, or they are interested in social media management. You can also do checkbox. You can do all of this. So when you have done with your custom modules and you've added in the field you want to add and also the groups, if you go back to this menu here, you can be able to see your students. Even if you have students in your Excel file already, you can be able to import students inside of your Freshsales account. So when you click on import in here, it is going to ask you for the file, and you can then start importing the students inside of your account. So if you want to create multiple module, like I said, just go to the admin settings and click on custom module under leads, contact, and account, and you can see all of your custom modules, and you can even add another module if you want. Okay, so that is for module. And also, so if you go to channels inside of this place, you can be able to see where you can be able to connect your Instagram account, and you can be able to send Instagram posts from your account. So you can connect your Instagram, and you can be able to manage your Instagram conversation inside of your CRM. And this actually helps because you can be able to add all of the leads that are coming from Instagram inside of this place. So to do that, just click on start setup, and you can connect your particular Instagram account to your account. Just log into your Facebook account, and Freshsales is going to tell you how to go about it. The same thing applies for WhatsApp. You can connect your WhatsApp inside of your Freshsales account, and I believe that this is actually good because contact comes in. The contacts in your company are going to come in from different places. Some are coming from WhatsApp, some are coming from phone, some are coming from Facebook, and the ability to be able to bring them into one place is why we are actually getting the CRM in the first place. You can also see the other channels that you can be able to add. If you're using any of this like Telegram or any of this, you can also be able to add them to your account. Okay, I think we're done with this course, and in another video we are going to be going essentially deeper into Freshsales, but this one is just for the beginner series. So we're going to be doing an advanced series very soon. I do not want to put a time to it, but I believe maybe by August we should be able to do an advanced series for this, but this is just for the beginner series so that you can be able to like, so it is not overwhelming. All right, thank you so much guys, and also do not forget to subscribe to this channel and also like this video. Finally made it to the end. Congratulations, you have completed the Freshsales CRM complete course, and by now you should be able to comfortably create leads, manage contacts, build your own sales pipeline, and to creating deals and generating quotations and sending emails, and also creating automations inside of your CRM. By now you should be comfortable creating leads, managing contacts, building your own sales pipeline, creating deals and generating quotes and sending emails, and also creating automation inside of your Freshsales account. And by now you should also be able to build reports and to manage your own sales process inside of your Freshsales account. If you found this video helpful, I would actually appreciate it if you can like this video and also subscribe to this channel. It actually helps us to be able to continue creating free CRM tutorials like this one. If you would like more CRM tutorials like this one, we have complete courses covering different platforms like HubSpot, like Zoho CRM, like Mailchimp, like Brevo, and many more. And finally, if you actually need an expert help to help you set up your Freshsales account from the beginning to the end for your business, or you would like someone to actually review your existing CRM setup, you will find the link to book your free discovery call and also request your CRM audit in the description below. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next course. And also do not forget to subscribe and also download your workbook in the link in the description below. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.